sucks, man. I just don't know where. All right, what's happening, boys and gals? If you guys are out there, my name is Jay Tate, as you can see right there, and I am publisher of AuburnSports.com, a terrific website on the internet where we talk about Auburn and bourbon and movies and all kinds of crazy, crazy stuff. And we're going to do this thing again. We're doing the damn thing is what we're going to do. Welcome to the Brain Drain for August 15th in the year of 2020. It feels like this year has gone on forever. But, yeah, it's only gone on, 8 months. Let's see. AU Storm 20 says new camera and banner. Same banner, just repositioned it so it didn't look so shady. And the camera's new as in maybe a month ago, something like that. So I don't know. Don't forget to hit that like button. I haven't inundated you guys with that stuff. So anyway, we will go to our main. I just want to say thank you guys for being part of the show. I just love you guys so much. You guys have been incredibly supportive. I know we've got a lot of our usual beasts, our Mad Lads, Canoe Man, Ravine. AU Storm 20 is always a good one to start off with. AU Taxman, Cleveland Brown, Hornacious. We kind of deal with him. Biscuits the Man, obviously. And I just thank you guys so much. The reason we're able to do this show and make it better all the time is because of you guys. I was able to get a new computer because of you guys. And we were able to get this new platform because of you guys. And the show's for you guys. So I forgot about that, AU Storm. I did find a way to up the resolution a little bit. I know I'm not a very handsome man, but maybe when we get to the Gals We Adore part, the extra high definition will be awesome. Let's go to the main page upon which we work. And hopefully that chat box will populate the way that it's supposed to. There it is. Yes. All right, so let's see. Things we need to discuss right out of the box. I did not have a good weekend last weekend. So we did the show on Saturday night, which I thought it was great. We had the new platform, which is through an application called Ecamm Live, which is just for Mac. And man, it's been working great. So I was really stoked to have that working. And so Saturday went great. Sunday morning, we got up real early. And we went down to Mobile. It was time to take my daughter to college. And so we took her to South Alabama. And, it was hot. And I didn't go as well maybe as I had hoped. It went fine. We knew where we were going. And we got everything put in there and got everything installed. And, it went that way. But it was just tough. I don't know what that means. Change the background for the schedule? Are you just messing with me? Why would I do that? I don't have any reason to do that. Clashes with the colored team names. That's why I put the white outline around it. Sorry, buddy, if it hurts your feelings. So we got her moved in, and it was a little bit bumpy. Come on, man. She hadn't really been away from home, and she's 18, and, I don't know. It was just kind of tough. So we ended up staying the night. We were planning to stay the night, and we did. And then we came back in the morning, and this would have been Monday morning, I guess. And, still kind of tough. And I don't know, man. Look, man, we've all been through things. Those of you who are like my age or close to my age or whatever. We've had folks in your family pass away, and, whatever. Maybe somebody's been diagnosed with a nasty disease or whatever. So, there's a lot of bad things that happen in the world. Obviously, I'm not trying to bring it down, but, dropping my daughter off at college, it's not in that area. No one's dying, but it was really hard to do. And she's going to the right place for her. She's got a great roommate that she knows and she likes. Everything's good. It was just tough to walk away. So those of you who have been through that, some of our older viewers who are more like my age, I'm 48 years old. You guys know what I'm talking about. And I think D Lucky has been there. I think we've talked about that. But so that was tough. And the first 3 days here at the house without her here, and so it was just me and administrative assistant. And I love administrative assistant, but man, it was tough. And I honestly, I didn't do a lot of work on the site. I was just moping around and just sucking. I didn't feel good. I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to be here. But anyway, you get through it. You push through it, and the next day becomes the next day and becomes the next day, and now she's up there and she's made friends and she's doing good, and everybody. I mean, it's going the way that it should. So I just got to sack up and get over it. Administrative assistant's got to sack up and get over it, and that's the way it's going to be. So thanks for asking, AU Taxman. That's how it went. And honestly, I asked her yesterday evening, I said, how's your experience going? Like, what would you rate it out of a 10? And she said it's a 10 out of 10 so far. So she's met a lot of good girls. She's had a chance to, socialize and make new friends. And I think she's comfortable now. She's got some girls she knows and she likes and she hangs out with, and it's all good. So, yeah. AU Storm 20 says, at least you had Voodoo right. Yes. We got to hit Voodoo on Saturday for lunch. No, excuse me, Sunday for lunch, and then Monday for lunch on our way out of town. We got to see Jan and Jenna both times, and just enjoy the heck out of that. Man, I am so all up in the Voodoo sauce right now. They made it a little bit hotter than it used to be, let's say a year ago, and I am really feeling it. So, thumbs up right there. Love hanging out at Voodoo. They do such a great job there. And I've been saying, I did a little more investigating on this. They only have one store in Vegas, and I had been saying for a while they had two. They did have two at one time, but they ended up closing one of those. So they have one in Vegas. So it's Mobile, Auburn. I'm blanking. Oh, Tuscaloosa. And then one in Vegas. Powerman says, I came here to make fun of the big. Oh, they deserve that. And now I'm crying. Come on, Powerman, please. It's all good. I was tore up. I'm not gonna lie about it. I didn't expect that to happen. I didn't. I thought. I mean, because my daughter's, she's not a softie. I mean, like you kind of have to. She's a tough-minded person, and she's not particularly loving, and so it's not like I hug her all the time, and we play hopscotch or anything. She's just kind of a grown girl, but at the same time, it just sucked, man, to see her go or to see us go, and she was upset at the time. She's good now though. She's real good. Rush starts Monday. School starts Monday, and so that's when things pick up. But I really believe this is the right choice for her, and everything indicates that things are going really well. So, thank you for asking. Let's see. Love the Cat says, no love like a daughter's love for dad. It's very nice of you to say. Ed D, my man, with all the questions on point, says, brain drain. Yeah. AU Storm 20 says, hopscotch. Yes. Some people do. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know if you guys remember on the show last week, we had the Ecamm Live logo down here in the bottom left where you see the auburnsports.com subscribe today. We went ahead and we are now paid members. I felt like it worked really well. Excuse me, a little bit of Rona there. I felt like it worked really well last week, so I think we're good to go. I think we're going to roll this out. There's other stuff that I can do with this, other things, and we're going to do that as time goes on. I was just kind of getting it stable and going, because if you guys remember from 2 or 3 weeks ago when we had 6 drops, and we're never going to do that again. Powerman says, I get it. I got one that makes fun of Alpha Tiger every Saturday night. It's going to be rough when I have to do it alone. It's going to happen. But I mean, as dads, right? Most of us are dads on here. I mean, we're men, I should say. You're teaching your kids, boys and girls, to be independent. I mean, that's what I was pushing for, and I know you guys do that too. You don't want them to be softies. You want them to be able to think for themselves and operate for themselves. And so when you spend, in my case, 18 and a half years, getting her to that point, you're happy for her. So got our first super chat of the night from who else? Leif B., one of our good friends who is now a bunker member, in addition to being an awesome Rebel Grove superstar over there, says, donation for a care package for Maddie. Very good. Thank you, Leif. We've already had to send her one because we bought the sweet-ass lamp for her that had like USB plugs on it. It was perfect for her bedside table, and then she ruined it before it hadn't even turned on yet, and she messed up the plug. So we got another one for that. So we'll say it's from Uncle Leif. Thanks, bro. Thank you very much for that. And you're always here for us. Always here for us. I do want to mention, Leif makes me think about this because Leif is big into the bourbon. Tonight's bourbon is going to be the Russell's Reserve, a bourbon that I enjoy a whole lot. I have a picture of it up there, but this is what it looks exactly the same. A lot of you guys out there who are bourbon drinkers have had this or perhaps are drinking it tonight. It is a product of the Wild Turkey, which is located in Bardstown, Kentucky, Nelson County, I believe it is. And it's right down the road, just a little bit north of where Willett and let's see, Elijah Craig's right there. And there's one more. It's 1792. So you got Heaven Hill right there, and you've got Wild Turkey right there. Good stuff, good stuff. So Russell's Reserve, 90 proof, not a particularly hot one. The reason I like this so much is it's just kind of got a sweetness to it. And your boy was drinking a lot last night. I had a little shindig here at the house. My guys, J-Dub and Cuz and Big Tommy. And, of course, their gals, Becky and Brigida and Sonia, administrative assistant, and I. And we drank a lot of we actually cashed out a bottle of Statesman. And then we also finished off bottles from Elijah Craig, Willett, and something else. I put it on the Twitter. I don't remember exactly what it is. Russell's Reserve. So this, a lot of times you'll see this in the ABC store between 35 and 40. I think this was actually right at 40. Honestly, in that price range, because for me, you're under Blanton's, because Blanton's is probably going to be 50-ish, maybe a little bit more, maybe 60. And then you've got Eagle Rare, which is in this range, 35-ish, but it's really hard to find. Russell's Reserve is not necessarily super hard to find. So I think this is a tremendous bourbon, and I'm looking forward to popping the top on this bad boy. This bad boy right here, buddy. I got this is what I'm going to play for when Jeffrey Lee calls in later. You ready?
Bow to your sensei. Bow to your sensei!
Love the sound effects, dude. We also got one of these for when somebody makes a call and they say something stupid. Ooh, sorry, buddy. Maybe next time. Becky with the good hair, Ed D asks. Yeah, I would say that's Becky with the good hair. Canoe Man says Russell's Reserve is really good. It's delicious, man. I hadn't had it in a minute. I had a bottle and I didn't want to, you know when you have a bottle and you got like this much left because you're just not sure. You're like, I don't know if I'll find this again, and maybe I need it someday, and I don't have any. And I cashed it out, and now we've got a new one. I'm really stoked to see it. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get off me, man. Shit. Make a little pour here. Again, I had a full night of drinking last night. Believe me, I hit that Statesman really hard. My man J-Dub and I were hitting that extremely hard. But it's worth it, man. That Old Forester Statesman's good. Oh, yeah. Let's see what we got here. What do y'all drink tonight? Hornation says, well, it sounds like a key party. Nah, man. I don't know where you guys come up with this crap. Let's see what you guys are drinking tonight. See, Chaz says, I may get crazy and try the Dr. Pepper vanilla tonight, but I can't be responsible for what happens. Man, you guys are insane, seriously. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's the good stuff right there. Oh, yeah. Also got another little surprise we can talk about tonight. I went ahead and built out a defensive depth chart based on what we were thinking the depth chart would look like. Now, the good news is that we've got football practice starts Monday. I have every reason to believe that it's a go and it's going to happen. It's 100% basically at this point. So they start practice Tuesday. Again, the first game is not until the 24th of September, so they're going to spread it out a little bit more, but it doesn't really matter. We will have a chance to talk to Gustav on Monday early afternoon, so that'll be good. And, of course, Brian and I assume young Nate will be writing stuff. Young Nate is getting married very soon, in very short order. So we want to wish him well for sure. We need to get Nate on the horn so we can make fun of him for getting married. But I mean, I don't want to be that guy, do I? I'm happily married myself, and I think my life would really suck without my wife around. So I don't want to be that guy. You know, there's always a guy. You know what I mean? Like, there's always a guy that's like, don't get married, dude. Like, just because you married Medusa doesn't mean that everybody else is making bad decisions out here. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. Oh, yeah, depth chart. So I went ahead and built this out. I did not do an offensive depth chart. I thought we would just kind of focus on defense tonight. But this is the way that we were thinking that it would go down. Some of these are negotiable. I mean, things that happen in, things that happen in camp definitely can affect some of this. But, you know, our thought is that Derek Hall would get ahead and stay ahead of TD at Buck. I mean, you guys know the story with TD. I mean, he's got all the talent. I need to get a little camera on here, don't I? Or do I? Maybe I don't. Yeah, we'll get a little. What's up, guys? This is your boy JG right here. I'll put it down here. Our thought was that Derek Hall would probably get ahead of Moultrie and stay ahead of him. And Derek played really well when he was able to play last year. So, like him, Truesdell, I mean, he's locked in at one tackle spot. The other tackle spot is a little bit up for grabs. I mean, Jeffrey's big into Connis Miller. I think B-Mad's pretty into Connis Miller. He's another guy. Like, if he's in gear, he's a baller. If he's not in gear, he's just average. So what I was thinking on this is Truesdell starts, and then Dre Butler, who's the JUCO kid, is going to have a chance to maybe start at the other tackle spot. We just don't know where he's going to start right away. You know, if he's a starter right away, if he can move up at the other spot. I don't know if they like him better as a shade guy or as a 3 guy. You know, we'll have to see how that all plays out. Jay Hardy's another one that you need to keep a very close eye on. Extremely good player. Again, Connis Miller, Daquan Newkirk. For me, he's more of a backup, like a really good backup the way that Jamarcus Ricks was years ago, Jake Ricks. I mean, a good player that's a backup. He's just been hurt by injuries so much, and I think it's awesome at this point that he can even contribute. And then you got Marquise Burks, number 92, also playing there at inside, another JUCO kid. So, I mean, that's a good – you don't see the studs up front. I mean, obviously you lose Derek. I mean, god dang. He's probably the best that I've seen at Auburn. And putting him ahead of Fairley might be a little bit crazy, but, I mean, he's so good. So you don't see anybody like that, or at least right now. But this is a really good group of players. I feel like the 3, Truesdell, Butler, Hardy are good players. Miller, Newkirk, Burks are good players. So that's 6 inside you can roll and rotate with. And then Daniel Foster Allen has changed his body significantly, and Jeffrey Lee is of the opinion that he's got a chance to do some. He's not going to be a starter this year, but I think he could be a guy that steps in and helps you a little bit, the way that Connis did last year. That's a lot of dudes inside. And again, you don't see a Derek Brown, at least not right now, but that's good rotation, and I'm sure Rodney's happy with that. At the standard defensive end position, you got Big Cat, Jaron Handy, Caleb Johnson, and then Walker coming in, Zeke Walker with the number 3 shirt. So that's, I don't know about Caleb Johnson. We'll just have to kind of see with that. I like Big Cat a lot. I probably like him more than anybody on our staff at Auburn Sports. Jaron Handy, we still got some work to do to figure out exactly what he is and how much you can rely on him this year, but he's a good player. Caleb, I just don't know about him. He could be good or he could not be. I don't know. And then Zeke Walker's just getting started, but he's good. At linebacker, you lose. So at one linebacker spot, you got Owen, Zacoby, and then Josh Marsh. You probably have Wesley Steiner is right there with Josh Marsh because I think Wesley Steiner's a special player. He's also very young, but he's going to have more time. This practice season, fall camp is going to last a lot longer than it usually does. maybe that gives guys like Steiner a chance to move the depth chart where they wouldn't normally. Now, is he going to be playing ahead of Papo? No, he's not. He could be a factor in here because if you look at the other one, you got Downhill, obviously, is your inside guy, a tremendous player. I would argue probably the best in the league. But then with Wooten backing out for the season, that means that O.C. Brothers has got to step up. And then Cam Brown, who for me is just kind of a developmental player. You know, maybe Steiner gets in there. He's not really a middle, but he can be. I think Travis would always tell you that being an inside linebacker is more about attitude than it is size because he was a terrific inside linebacker at Auburn and was not a particularly big dude. So this is not laid out exactly the way that a defense would be. It's a 4-2-5, but so you got the nickel. Hold on, what is this? Please be something useful. Oh, there we go. At nickel, you've got Christian Tutt, who I really, really like. He does have one weakness, which is that he really struggles to defend verts against top half SEC wideouts. And you've got to be very careful in not leaving him in that situation, which they did. If you remember the first touchdown Georgia scored, it was Blaylock. They had 3 verts plus a tight end dragging. And Daniel Thomas left Tutt alone on Blaylock on a vert, which just can't happen. And Tutt got beat, and it was a touchdown. The first thing Tutt did after he gave the touchdown to try to stop him was jump up and chase down Thomas and yell at him. So I love Tutt. You just can't leave him alone on verts, which if you have safeties that are being aware and playing their responsibilities, it's not going to be a big deal. Jordan Peters also there, and then Lord Tennyson, a.k.a. Ladarius Tennyson, also stacking up at nickel. Tennyson is definitely going to be a great long-term solution at that position, and I think he's going to give you more coverage ability. Not that Christian Tutt can't cover. He can. But he's just not super fast, and I think Lord Tennyson gives you the coverage and the toughness. I think he's going to be an absolute beast at nickel. Moving along to cornerback, this gets a little dicey. Roger McCreary starting at one side almost for sure. At the other side, we've got Nehemiah Pritchett there, and he played some last year as like the 4th guy, I think, 5th guy. I can't remember exactly. But and Kevin's been a big fan of this kid from the day that really he got going in the recruiting, and then he's been really happy with the way that he's been here at Auburn. But Domio coming in from junior college, I suspect that Domio is going to be the guy that starts there. It's just that right now coming in, you know, I don't know. You know, I don't want to put him starter right now. He's got to come in there and put his foot down and take that spot away from Pritchett. So we'll just leave it that way for now. This can very easily be switched if we decide we want to do that. Eric Reed Jr., the young man from Calvary in Shreveport, Louisiana, is definitely going to be a little bit of a developmental guy, but they really like him. He may play a little bit this year. At safety, obviously, you got Sherwood and Smoke Monday as your top guys at the 2 safety spots. Behind them, Zion Puckett. And then Matthew Hill, the former wide receiver, is going to be playing safety behind Smoke Monday. That is the plan. Again, he played wide out last year. I didn't think he was bad. But they talked about moving him. I was communicating with some folks in the department not too long ago about Matthew Hill, and it was kind of like, well, you know, we're looking forward to seeing him, and, you know, they haven't seen him practice. He was supposed to go through spring and kind of see what was going on. Obviously, that got pushed until, you know, starting Monday, and they'll see if he fits in at safety. If he does, he might be really good back there. He's very rangy, and he was really great on special teams, so you know he's kind of got that hard edge. I think he's got a shot there. Then Malcolm Askew, you know, he's going to be a senior this year, just kind of providing some depth there. Chris Thompson, the young man from Texas that Auburn, that was one of the really kind of a crazy recruiting win last year, going into Texas and taking away a kid who he was thinking about Texas. Texas wanted him. Yeah, Auburn doesn't go into Texas and take kids away from the Longhorns very often, but they did on that one. And again, Zion Puckett providing some depth there. I think they like him quite a bit as a cover guy. We'll just have to see if he can lay the wood the way that some other folks can. And I didn't really go into much detail on the other cornerback spot. I said McCreary. I mean, he's going to be a guy that plays most of the snaps. And then Jalen Simpson, a young man that hasn't played much, but they really like him. And then Devin Barrett, who's had a tough career. I mean, he starts out at tailback, and they move him to defense, and he doesn't play a lot, and he's hanging in there. He's hanging in there. I think he deserves a lot of credit for hanging in there because he was a pretty highly rated kid out of high school, and he just never really found a spot. But you know what he doesn't do? He doesn't pout about it, and he doesn't leave. And he goes to the coaches. He goes to Kevin Steele specifically and says, what do I need to do to get better, to get in a position to help this team? That is the kind of kid you want on your roster, okay? And that's the kid that you want to bet on, as a coach. I think Hunter is definitely in the chat tonight, Hunter Adams, and he would probably tell you. I mean, everybody needs some superstar players, but you also need some players that bust their ass every day to get better and have a great attitude, and there's a lot of value there. Actually, Hunter just said that 4-2-5 look is what most college teams spend 60% or better of their snaps in because of what offensive groupings they see. The days of the true 3-4 and 4-3 are over. I agree. At least in this era right now where you have so much shape-shifting on the offensive side of the ball and you've got to deal with various sets. Usually, in the SEC, you've always got 3 wideouts. And now Ole Miss is probably going to be doing more 4 and 5 wideouts. Mississippi State's going to be going 5 wide. So, yeah, you're going to have to be very able to mold to that. And you've got to have that nickel, again, who's got to be able to play, got to be able to cover and support the run. It's a really tough position now. When I was a kid, nickel was a position you wouldn't really want because it was a specialty shot and you didn't get a lot of snaps. But the way that offenses have changed and the way that defenses have adapted, that nickel spot has a lot of pressure on it. Why did Tennyson get so small? I'm disappointed. He shouldn't be like that. And now nickel is such a crucial, critical part of this defense. And a lot of defenses now. You just got to have a good nickel. Ravine says we need more players with that kind of attitude like Devin Barrett. You look around here. You got some workers here now. Guys who are like superbly dogged. KJ, Papo, Jacoby, Tut, Sherwood, McCreary. I would say Big Cat now. I don't know about Connis. Daquan, close. I wish I knew more about Dre Butler. Dre Butler, of all the people on this board right here, Dre Butler has the most upward mobility, in my opinion. Hey, caller, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
What you doing, Jay?
Hey, what up?
It's Power Man. How are you?
I knew who it was, bro. How you been?
Okay, I'm good. I'm good.
Up, didn't I?
Hey, I'll let you go through the lineup or the defensive lineup. It was interesting because I was watching. Somebody put it on the bunker this morning. I started watching the LSU Auburn game from '97 in Baton Rouge that was on SEC Network today, and they had every time they put X4 in the slot, they had a linebacker on him, and he tore him up.
Yeah.
And you talking about Cut in the slot? I'm not sure it's not the most important cover player.
It's definitely up there from where it was. You mentioned how it was in '97. It was an afterthought. It's a crucial spot now because these teams are trying to exploit that matchup.
That's the whole point. They try to exploit that position because you got to cover. You don't have the sideline to help you. It's a really, really difficult spot to play.
Well, Tud has definitely got it. He's just not quite the fastest dude around, but he can hit, and he will. He'll fight. He will fight.
Yeah.
It's just that against Blaylock and other guys like that who are super, super fast. Waddle.
In Alabama.
Yeah,
guys.
Waddle was tearing him up, and hell, Waddle tore up Javaris too, who's faster.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Waddle's really good.
Yeah. So anyway, hey, you think we're gonna play? How you feeling? How you feeling this week? I felt really good last week. I feel good again this week.
I do.
How you feeling?
I feel good. I feel like they're gonna. This thing's going. It's just I just wonder, Power Man. I mean, we've talked about this on the show. How much are the numbers going to affect the non-football numbers going to affect the decision makers? Okay, so if Auburn has an outbreak and 35 kids test positive, I mean, now I'm not talking about players. I'm talking about students. Is that going to freak them out to the point where they go to the SEC and say, I don't know how I feel about this? Notre Dame's had an outbreak, not among the football players, but among the students. And I wonder if things like that would just spook them a little bit,
Yes, but here's the thing that the universities and their business model, if they send students home and they do a virtual campus and all that kind of thing, they're selling their competitors' product at that point at a supremely higher price. They can't afford to do it.
It's going to be tricky, man. There's a lot.
So the competitors, I totally think that the pressure is going to be there, but the SEC, the ACC, the Big 12, I cannot fathom I cannot figure out why the Big 12 and the Pac, or the Big 10 and the Pac-12 canceled instead of delayed. And it has to be something other than COVID, because now, they're getting petitioned by the kids' parents and that type thing. And I don't know if that matters. Optically, it does.
Yeah.
And it gives the SEC cover, it gives the Big 12 cover, it gives the ACC cover to say kids' parents want them to play. They trust us with them. So I think that optically it gets better, not worse, for the schools that have stuck it out.
Well, do you think I'm getting a little more skeptical about how the media, the national media, is getting manipulated on this story? Do you think the Pac-12 and the Big Ten are going to find ways to put out stories that kind of undermine the SEC and the ACC and maybe the Big 12 if they go ahead with it, and kind of say
100%.
they're being dangerous with their kids? I have a feeling they're going to do that.
100%. And I put it. It was in a text with a group of bunkers today when Anthony Schwartz and Cap or whoever it was, says, I don't see anybody wearing masks. And I said, Dan Woken and Pat Forty are about to start writing stories with firsthand information using Twitter as their source to try to torpedo the SEC, because that's what they're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so I will tell you this. I was in Tuscaloosa all last week. I was on campus Monday through Friday last week. Every student had a mask on. If they weren't running, if they weren't in the quad playing Frisbee, if I ate lunch and dinner on the strip every day, everybody had masks on. It is not, sure, there's going to be parties and that type thing, but as a rule, if you're just walking around, it looks the same thing like you're walking through a Publix. It looks like you're walking through a Publix.
Well, I wasn't at Auburn last weekend, but I was at South Alabama, and everybody was wearing a mask. So, I'm not.
Yeah.
They're a fairly big school too, and they're trying to play football too. And
right.
What I saw is that they were all paying very close attention to wearing masks. So, that's what I saw.
Yeah. And there's a whole pile of them getting tested. Your daughter was one of them.
She did get tested. Tested negative, thank goodness. Yep. So.
Yeah. So.
I sent my daughter to South Alabama, a fairly big school, and I'm not worried about it at all. I don't want her to get the virus, but I'm not living in fear, nor is she, and nor are her friends. So just move on. Let's be smart and move on.
Yeah. No, I truly think that, I think the delay of the season was super, super smart, and it gives us a chance to kind of, my kids start school next week, and gives us a chance to kind of get through this first couple of weeks. And then they're going to kind of figure out how to do it. And I firmly believe that, I don't know that we finish a complete season with every team playing and all that kind of stuff, but I think football's played. And I don't think any athlete's going to be hurt any worse than they would be playing football.
Agreed. I mean, they're at a risk anyway, just being on college campus,
Correct.
Right? So is it heightened? I don't think so, but we'll find out. And if it is bad, then they'll pull the plug. But I think they're going to go with this, and I think the SEC stands to gain a whole lot here. I mean, they already have a great position relative to all the other conferences, but if they pull this off,
I can imagine being a Big Ten, being Ohio State, or really Nebraska, Nebraska's marginal now anyway. But they're about to become UAB. I mean, it's just, you don't recover from something like this, I don't think.
It's going to piss their fans off, that's for sure.
Ooh, big time.
Well, that's their problem.
Yep. Not ours. Hi, man. Well, hey, great talk to you on a Saturday.
Thanks for calling in, Power Man. You know we love you, bro. Thank you so much for calling.
All right, buddy. Talk to you later.
See you, bro.
Bye.
There he goes. Power Man. A great caller. An early caller, usually. And a fine bunker poster, I should add. We are now joined, well, not on the phone, but in the chat by BP Rockman, one of our all-time favorites, Hall of Fame poster. Says he's just swinging by to say hello. He's in Jacksonville. Seeing his daughter for the first time since in about a year. So, Hunter Adam, our man Hunter says that if Rockman's in the chat, that means somebody in the chat's getting pregnant. Hey now. Hey now. Yeah, as we mentioned with Power Man, I think some of you guys were made reference to this too. I want to say it was AU Taxman. Yeah. AU Taxman says the conferences that hang in there will be huge winners. So much to gain right now. Agreed completely. The longer this goes, the more I think you can do this safely. I do. I really do. So, and they've got a lot of time to work this out. I mean, when you're talking about how to manage this situation, I mean, a month is a really long time. And they're going to learn a lot in a month. And I think they'll be even better positioned to keep the kids safe. Let's see. JG, do you see Kevin Steele playing more zone this year? Allow playmakers in the secondary to read and react to routes. Not a lot of interceptions playing man. That is true. I would feel bad making a statement on that with Hunter in the chat because Hunter is a guy who makes those kinds of decisions daily. And he would know more about it. So I would want to defer to Hunter. And I bet you Hunter will be more than willing to talk about that here on the show. But you're right. The lack of interceptions hurt them last year. And anything that he could do to improve that without undermining his defense, I think he would do. A couple super chats. We had a Hornatius jumped in who's with us every single week. He said, Hornatius says, insert Alpha Tiger 08 super chat here. Loves bagging on Alpha Tiger. I don't know. Alpha seems like a pretty good guy to me, but everybody likes banging on him. And then Michael Phillips jumps. Oh, dadgummit, I grabbed the wrong thing. It happens sometimes, guys. It happens. Michael P. says, paying $10 to hear JG say another one, followed by the DJ air horn sound effect. I am ready. You ready? Another one. I need to set it up so that goes off automatically anytime somebody drops a super chat. Thank you very much, Michael P. and also Hornatius and also Leif B. for jumping in earlier. I appreciate that, guys. Unbelievable. Absolute beast. Man, we have a lot going on here. A lot of chats. A lot of chatting. That's what I like to see. So we'll wait and see what Hunter says about the zone situation. I mean, I haven't had that specific conversation with Kevin. Usually when I talk to him, I ask him about specific players. Sometimes he gets a little upset about technical questions because he thinks that I don't know. Maybe he thinks that I'm going to take that information and do something with it. I don't know. Kilgore says Smoke needs to play in the zone. Smoke Monday. He's a dog, and he's a little too aggressive. He had a bad year last year. Yeah, being a little too aggressive. I was surprised by that. We'll go back to the depth chart page there. I mean, we've gone through most of this. Obviously, I wasn't going to try to harp on it too much, but this is the defense. These are the guys you got to lean on. And I think a few people, I was mentioning this before, a Power Man called in. I think the person on this page who has the most upward mobility is Dre Butler, number 49, playing defensive tackle. I mean, a very highly rated JUCO inside defender, somebody that Rodney Garner was really after doggedly in recruiting and felt like he could come in and make a difference right away. And if he is somebody who's really, really good, that makes a difference up there. Absolutely. So he has a lot of upward mobility. I think Romello Height has a lot of upward mobility. Jeffries kind of talked me into thinking that Zeke Walker over the other defensive end, number 3, has some real upward mobility. I don't want to forget about Colby Wooden. He redshirted last year because it had an obscene amount of depth over there. But he was a really good player in high school. And, he's kind of forgotten. So, I think there's Dre Butler, though. He's the guy to watch here. And Domio. All right. We got another super chat coming through from who else? Stu Pup, who's always here for us. Drops what? Let's go ahead and drop one. Here we go. Says, you know what would help the interception numbers? A speed rusher. You're right about that. And that's the one thing I don't see on AU's too deep. Interesting. Yeah, I kind of don't see it either. Although there may be some dudes coming through. Oh, we've got another super chat from the man who loves the transitions, AU Storm. Says, I spent more than this at a Marriott bar for one glass of Four Roses. More transitions. I'm going to try to get some custom transitions coming through before too long. Hunter did jump in. Let's see. Hunter said that he was thinking about calling in here when he gets a chance. I think he's out on the water right now. So he did say look for Derek Hall or Colby Wooden to come up big over there. That he's talking about at the Buck position. And they could possibly be Sensei Mud level good. Sensei Mud.
Bow to your sensei. Bow to your sensei!
Talking about Jeffrey Holland. Sensei. Pick of their moms. Wait, what? Oh, he's talking about Hunter says he's got a boat full of 9-year-olds, so unless you want a sign in your yard. But Hornatius is asking for pics of their moms. Oh, boy. Oh, my goodness gracious. Again, I want to thank AU Storm 20 for that super chat, and also Stu Pup, because AU Storm had one that came right there after yours. But appreciate you, Stu Pup. You're always here. You are the most consistent super chatter we've ever had, so we thank you so much. Bro, we couldn't do this without you guys. I tell you that all the time, but it's the absolute truth. Wait, man, now it's getting really kind of... Let's see, Hornatius' pics of the had lady types in bikinis, Hunter? Wait, what? What are you talking about? Local softball team. Moms? You guys are cracking me up a little bit tonight. Would love to have Hunter, though. But when you've got a boat full of 9-year-olds, I mean, what can you do? Then you got Romello Height. I mean, that's a nice little group at Buck, honestly. I mean, Derek Hall, Colby Wood, and obviously Hunter's high on them. Romello Height, who's a guy that Auburn kind of snatched late in recruiting. Stole him, really. I mean, stole him right out from the noses of the folks in Florida. And, I mean, he has that. You talk about a speed rusher. He's the kind of guy that has that quick twitch, I mean, that's what everybody at Buck is supposed to have, and TD Moultrie has it for sure. It's just TD just seems like he's not in gear often enough. You talk about somebody that has a motor that never stops the way that Nick Fairley did. It's to me, TD's kind of following the same path that Pat Sims had, except at at the end of Pat Sims' career at Auburn, he did get it in gear and played at a very high level. Ended up getting to the NFL because he deserved to be in the NFL. He's a good football player. Pat Sims is one of the truly underrated players because he's responsible for the fact that he wasn't more widely known and revered, but he was a tremendous football player. Obscenely good. And just tapped into that talent late in his career. Sometimes you've got kids on one end that are like T. Will that show up and they're just trying to chew on the grass the minute they get out there on the field. And then you've got other guys who it takes a while to get them going, like Truesdale. And then you have guys that just never fire. Like the kid, I always forget his name, the kid from Sefner that went to Maryland. I can't remember his name. the number one overall player. I can see Byron Coward. For Byron Coward, it just never clicked, you know? It never clicked. And then you've got guys like Devin Barrett out there busting their ass all the time. And they just don't get high enough on the depth chart, you know? Kilgore says Lord Tennyson is coming fast for that nickel spot. I mean, agreed completely. Let's see. Alpha Tiger says Tate needs to move himself from DB to linebacker on the chart. Okay. Oh, I'll put myself right here. I don't belong anywhere on defense except over here, like on the sideline. I played center, and I really was not very good. I know this will surprise you guys. But, I mean, I was willing to go out there and get my ass beat, you know. Help me with the ladies to be on the football team, but I was not very good. It's a pretty decent pitcher, though. Nickel spot. So, Tut, man, they love them some Tut now. Now, if he gets hurt, all bets are off because Jordan Peters is just so-so. He's a smart player, and he's a guy you love having in the locker room, and he's a guy that Kevin Steele would say a lot of really, really good things about. Deservedly so. I mean, he wouldn't be bullshitting, but yeah, Tennyson is he's an athlete, man. I think he gives you everything Tut does plus a little bit more acceleration. But Christian Tut is way ahead of him as far as how to play on a SEC football field. Christian Tut's a good player. He's just got that one weakness, you know, which is you can work around that. You can totally work around that. You just have to give him over the top, you know, support. All right, let's get back on our main page here. Let's see. Aid Taxman says, I can't see TD Moultrie playing in the NFL for 5 years like Pat Sims did. Yeah, without something changing. But, you know, for Pat, it changed. I mean, and TD deserves a chance to show us that he's got more. I still think he's a tremendous athlete. And he's a spirited person. Like, he's not just some, you know, just dude who doesn't care. He cares a lot. It's not a function of him not caring. It's a function of I don't like saying toughness, because when you say toughness, people are like, oh, you mean he sits around and cries? Like, no, that's not what he does. It's just, I think that for TD, like, he wants to be 100% himself, fully healthy every single minute. And if he's in a situation where his ankle hurts, you know, or his knee hurts or whatever, like, it just affects him mentally, where he's like, I'm not as good as I should be physically, and it starts to affect the way he plays, you know, like the way that he actually performs. And that's been a problem for him. I don't really look at that as toughness, but I could see why someone would say that. Captain Eagle Fly Good is always good for a few. Glad to have you back on the show, brother. Chatting. Says, really disappointed in the large amount of cash I laid on Zach Farrar to win the Biletnikoff. Man, if that had paid off, you deserve to be a very rich man. Our man Hunter Adams says he needs a like button for Ed Darby's post. Ed's always on. He's always on point with the football stuff. He said, watch some old Chad Morris games from his time at Arkansas, SMU, and Clemson, and he will add chip blocks and release for tailbacks and tight ends, 5 wide, tailback checkdowns to the sideline and the middle. So there are definitely some different things that Chad feels very strongly about that Gus does not. That's not something that Gus really messes with very much. So when you start seeing those chip blocks, then you know. Ed asks another question. Says, JGD feels some players don't work out because of scheme. Peters might not be able to play man, but he could play zone. You know, possibly. I don't know. I don't look at Jordan Peters and I think he's an awesome player. Like, he's a solid player. He's a solid player. And everybody can't be a star, and I don't think Jordan Peters is a star. He's also been hurt. He's been beset by injuries, so I can't, like, sit here and give you, like, a full, you know, oh, he's just not very good. I'm not trying to say that, really. I'm just saying, like, okay, might he be better in zone? Yeah, but I don't think he's a program changer regardless of where he's playing. I just, you know, you can't go out and everybody's not going to be, you know, Igbenogany or Derek. Not going to be like that. You guys probably saw this in the chat, but I missed it because I was doing some other stuff. Powerman says, Little Powerman is at the beach with a friend. Alpha Tiger, you are spared tonight. She will be back next week to put you in the garbage can? I don't know. It sounds like Alpha Tiger's getting shat upon tonight real bad. Ay. Getting hurt. Getting knocked around. Spread it around. Knock him down. Had a chance last night when I was hanging out with my friend Tommy, who doesn't watch a lot of TV, I don't think. He had never seen the Chappelle Show. So last night, as I'm just bombed on Old Forester, we started showing him Chappelle Show sketches, and he thought it was so much fun to watch them because he was having such a great time watching it. He'd never seen it, never heard of it. And we're watching the racial draft and we're watching Clayton Bigsby and all this stuff. And he was just hooting and hollering, thought it was the funniest stuff he'd ever seen. And it was just so refreshing and wholesome to be like, yeah, that's me 15 years ago or 16 years ago or whatever. That's like the last show that I just like could not wait for the next episode. Those were back in the days when you couldn't stream all this stuff like you do now. And so you had to wait for it to come on. Yeah, the next week. Let's see. Stoop Up says Jordan. Talk about Jordan Peters. Fills a role. He can help you in short stints. Agreed. Great guy in the locker room, too. Positive guy. Happy guy. Not going to have to worry about any crying and stuff like that. Yes, Ed D makes a reference to the Oops Pal surprise. Oh! Yes, I couldn't. When we did that, when we watched that sketch, I couldn't help but jump up. And I'll battle any sex or any race. I'll battle any sucker, any race. That's what he says, actually. This is Tubbs never watched the Chappelle Show. No, that's my friend Tommy P. Different guy. My friend Tommy P doesn't even have a cell phone, guys. I know. It's crazy. He's like 52. And he just doesn't really want to have a cell phone. So let's see. Stoop Up says the World Series of Dice is my favorite Chappelle sketch of all time. It was a good one. It's a good one. You got your contestants are Fuck You, Leonard Washington, Grits and Gravy from Kansas City, Missouri, and then Ashy Larry from the Marcy Projects. Marcy, son, what? I'm about to go from ashy to classy. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, it is. That's good. It's A Storm says Ed D is on point this evening. Yeah, he had the Oops Pal surprise. He had the good questions earlier about Jordan Peters and the schemes. Ravine says more coaches should drink bourbon during pressers and interviews. The truth would come out. Yeah, I don't know if Gustav is much of a drinker. I think a lot of these guys pretend that they don't drink. And Gus is not pretending. I think he's like drinks a little bit, but he's not a drinker. But I think coaches hide it because if they're perceived as not being a drinker, then the non-drinkers are good with him, and the drinkers are like, yeah, you know, maybe he was early in his life or whatever. Maybe he made a conscious decision not to drink, so I can support that. If he's out there boozing it up all the time, then the non-drinkers are like, man, I don't know about that guy. So, and remember, man, I mean, for a lot of these dudes, like, maybe not the younger guys, but people like Gus. I mean, Gus got into coaching to coach. Really. He hadn't. Now, I know for a fact that's not true about AU Storm 20. Says Gustav hasn't had bourbon since 2010. I know for a fact that's not true. But you know, I don't want to get too deep into that though. Let's see. I got a couple questions on here. We had some questions earlier about Malcolm Johnson, Auburn's latest commitment. Who I think he was that yesterday? I think it was Friday morning. He's from Virginia, and he's their latest commit, but here's the little twist to this one. He is going to reclassify to the 2020 year and enroll, like, this week. So they think he's the kind of kid that he can kind of do everything. I don't think of him as like a Seth Williams, but he's like everything else. So he's going to be, you know, like Flash. so much of Anthony Schwartz's value is concentrated in his acceleration, but there's a lot more to being a great wide receiver than just acceleration, and I think we've learned a little bit about that with Flash. Not to say he isn't a good wide receiver, he is, but I don't know if he's an awesome football player. He's an awesome athlete. And I think they believe that Malcolm is more of a football player. He's a more refined football player who also has that kind of speed. Maybe, he might be a quarter of a step slower. I mean, Anthony is extremely fast, but I think he would trade off a guy who's just a little bit slower than Flash for someone who has significantly better skills, as an actual wide receiver. So I think they'll move him around a lot. I don't know if he'll figure in this year or not. I mean, I would doubt it just considering how young he is and the fact that he's in high school like right this minute. But wide receiver is one of those positions. The further away from the ball you are, the more likely you are to be able to help early in your career is kind of the way it's been explained to me. And it kind of proves out. I mean, Ronnie Daniels, that was a long time ago now, but he just came in straight in from baseball and the dude was a beast. Now, he was a little older, fair enough, and he understood about how to take care of his body and how to train because he was doing that with the Expos. But, I mean, you think about Karsten Bailey was really good right out of the box. Who else was really good right out of the box? I was trying to think of guys through the years. I'm bad about remembering that stuff. Call Me Biscuit says he drank a few bourbons with Coach Dye. He was a machine. Oh, yeah, nobody's accusing Coach Dye of not having been a little bit of a drinker. I mean, I don't say that in a mean way at all. You guys know, I mean, I have proofs in the pudding. I'm a drinker. I mean, I am 48, though. I mean, it's legal. It's all good. Let's see. Ed D says Auburn needs to stop recruiting one-trick wide receiver recruits. Well, it means that speed is very important there. Speed is very important at that position. So there is value in that. But, yes, understood. They have a lot of wide receivers now, dude. I don't have that offensive depth chart in front of me. I didn't do it this week. It takes a while to build that thing. So we'll do that next week. We'll delve a little bit more into it, but they have a lot of depth at wide receiver. You're right. Now, we don't know exactly how many of these dudes are awesome. Yeah, I mean, Seth's awesome. And I think Brandon Frazier's awesome. And I think that John Samuel Shanker is really good for what he does. And then everybody else is like, let's see who floats to the top. Emory Blake, very skilled wide receiver. Not fast, but very skilled. And a smart person. Very bright individual. Kind of like Ryan Davis. Great football player, just got great football instincts. Great open field runner. I said that when he was in high school. He was a quarterback in high school, Ryan Davis was. Ends up being setting a record at Auburn for most receptions in a season. A tremendous football player for Auburn that year. And a big reason is because he understands space. He understands where he needs to go. He understands where a defense is weak. And he's great in the open field. There's value to that. Canoeman asks, what was Patrick Fane Dye's bourbon of choice biscuit? Kilgore believes it was Old Forester. If so, I'm pretty fired up about that. That's a great choice. Canoeman says Brandon Frazier killed it in Bedazzled. Also the Mummy. Tremendous in that. AU Storm 20 says it's crazy that Malcolm Jenkins reclassified. I still don't understand how that happens. I think it's because he was ready to do it before and just didn't tell anybody. And we didn't know. Okay. AU Taxman was talking about Emory Blake being good immediately. Special case there. His dad was pretty well versed in how football works and had him training throughout his life. Ed D jumping in again with a little more football chatter says another good thing about Chad Morris is he takes the yards the defense gives. 1st and 10, defensive backs 10 yards off, take the 5 to 7 yards on a quick hitch. Malzahn up the middle, 1 yard gain. Oh, Gus. What are we going to do with you, Gus? Ravine says, listen to an interview with Uncle Sal, and he insinuated the wide receivers on the roster have tons of talent, and we have not even seen a glimpse of what they can offer the team. They can do more than block downfield, although Shedrick Jackson's a really good downfield blocker. Love the Cats. Apparently he loved Brandon Frazier and Encino Man as well. You guys are crazy, man. Trying to think of some other stuff. That trip to South Alabama was pretty sobering. And then like 3 days at home. My wife goes to work at her child care center, but I'm just here. And that's when I usually kind of talk to my daughter and stuff because she's here too, but she's not here anymore. So that kind of sucked. And I'm very interested to see this SEC thing play out. I think it's cool that they're going forward with it, though. It makes sense to me. It does. You're worried about this that specific heart issue that the Big Ten said was a reason why they didn't want to play. And the Pac-12 is already starting with their negative stuff where they're like, well, you listen to our physicians, and, man, they made it really easy. They made it sound like there was no choice but to shut this one down. SEC's like, I don't know, man. ACC's like, I don't know, man. It's going to be something crazy to see this all unfold, though. I mean, I really think the Pac-12 and the Big Ten are like, I dare you to play. Like, I dare you to actually suit up and take the field on, I guess, what is it, the 5th? No. 17th would be the first game day. And I bet you guys might know, but like South Alabama and Troy, they're like in week, I think this next week's going to be their 3rd week of football practice. I mean, guys, they're all in, yo. I mean, South Alabama had a freaking scrimmage in their new stadium. If you can't, Stu Pup says if you can't pronounce a condition, you know it's bad. Yeah, myocarditis. Not a physician. Okay, I'm a message board moderator and a part-time streamer. Canoe Man says, let's put it this way: Jeff Blake's getting laid tonight. I can't confirm or deny that. He probably is because he's a baller, but I don't know that for sure. I don't know what his situation is. Hornatius wants to know if I have the connections to get his Jeff Blake rookie card signed. You mean, is it the East Carolina one? Because I can probably get that. If it's a Bengals one, then no, I can't. Canoe Man says, what's the new South Alabama stadium like? It's really nice. It's just not very big. I don't know how many it holds. Probably 20,000, maybe less. Probably 20. I think you have to have 17, don't you? For to be a Division I or whatever. So it's at least that. It's super nice, though. What kind of stuns me about it, myocarditis. Myocarditis? I don't know. Thank you, Andrew. You were trying to help me, and I'm just not up to it. Yeah, so the thing about the South Alabama Stadium is it doesn't have a lot of height, or as Tuberville would say, height. Doesn't have a lot of height. It's just kind of like the stands go all the way around, and they're just not real tall, you know. I'll tell you what, I can get a picture of this for you. I will say this though, what blows me away is it's really nice. Like it looks a really nice looking stadium. I mean, if you're a South Alabama person, you're looking at that and going, that's pretty damn good, you know. I mean, for South. I'm trying to find these damn pictures, yo. Why is this so hard? Ah, there it is. Okay, so yeah, it's almost exactly what it sounds like. What it looks like, rather. So the last time I was there, it was about 60% finished, and then I saw it this last time, and it was done. And it looked really, really nice. I'm trying to find a good picture for you guys. A lot of this stuff's just like it's under construction or whatever. Like, here's a picture of it, 6 weeks in or whatever. Yeah, this is. Let me just put that picture right there. So that's what it looks like. This is actually an artist's rendering or whatever. It's a computer rendering, but that really is what it looks like. So again, it doesn't rise up real high in the bowl, but it's South Alabama. You don't need 50,000 people in there, but it's right on campus, and it's just it's nice. And they do have trees behind it like that. And if you're looking at it from this perspective, the campus is to the right of this picture. I mean, the sorority houses are like right there. So, it's really put right there on campus. I don't see a lot of parking, though. So I guess they're banking on people to, be on campus or whatever. Now you Texans is nicer than Lad Peoples. Slightly better. Now, War Eagle 008 is making a great point here. You guys probably saw it as it came through on the chat, but says it's so hypocritical that the Big 12 and the Pac-12, Big 10 and the Pac-12 are having kids on campus but can't play football. Yes, I find this very strange myself. I'm having a hard time getting over that. And they have the money to test. So this is not that. It's something else. And I don't know. Tree game is weak. Listen here, buddy. I don't need to listen to your crap. That's the way that the South Alabama campus is set up. All the area behind this, well, if you're looking at the picture deeper, it's undone. Like when the USA gets bigger 20 or 30 years from now, they're going to build that direction. And right now it really is just trees. That little area to the left right there, I can't really show you on my cursor, but that little area right there to the left is like their field house. It's like where it's like their football home. It would be like their athletic complex at Auburn. And then you can just barely see it there on the far left of the picture. That's their out. They have like a little practice facility, very similar to UAB's, where they have the really big canopy. So it's kind of inside and kind of outside, but you're shielded from the rain. That's kind of what they're doing at South. And they're a bad football team right now, but with that kind of investment and with a really nice stadium, they're gonna move up in the Sun Belt. D. Lucky says South's campus really changed. That used to be intramural fields before that crap housing. Yes. I could not believe. Like when I showed up at South the first time, whatever, year and a half ago, I was like, Auburn played at South Alabama in like 99 or 2000 basketball. It was right when they had opened the Mitchell Center. And I drove around campus because, I wanted to see. I'd never been down there, and it was like kind of shitty. It looked like a community college, basically. And so that was kind of my mental image. And then I show up like a year and a half ago, and I'm like, oh my God, like this is so nice. South's really nice now. Somebody put a lot of money in that place, and like my daughter's in a dorm that's like 3 years old. And the other dorms are even newer than that. It's really nice. I've been really impressed with it, and they've been first class with everything they've been doing. You don't have to be Auburn. Auburn's to me like, flagship. Like everything works the way that it should at Auburn. Auburn's a big ass school, and they know what they're doing. They got a lot of money. And you talk about a campus that's taking a big step forward. Auburn. Not to say it was bad 20 years ago, but it is insanely nice now. Their new student act, which has been up for like 5, 6, 7 years, is insanity. So nice. See, Hornatius is going to have to shit on South Alabama now. If you build it Sun Belt type, players will come. It's funny, Hornatius. Doc Auburn, great observation. UAB new stadium is going to be nice. Absolutely. It looks something like South Alabama's, but I think it's going to be even nicer than that. And I love the positioning of it in downtown Birmingham. It's awesome. So, yeah, UAB. I think we all like UAB. Even though it's in the Alabama system. The way they got shat upon, they just kind of rose up from that. It's pretty inspiring. Let's see. Finished. Let's see. I was at the Auburn versus South Alabama game. Oh, the basketball game. Yeah. Bob Weltlich was the coach. And Cliff Ellis, man, happy to have it here. What a facility they have here in Mobile. Yeah. They play some ball down here now. AU Taxman says the Mitchells have done a lot for that school. Absolutely. Yeah, the UAB stadium I don't think is on campus. It's just in a different part of downtown. But I'm not an expert on UAB, to be honest with you. Oh, yes. So I think it was Leif, but it may have been some of you guys as well, put me on to the podcast. Listen, man, I've never listened to podcasts, and I just started listening like 2-3 weeks ago. My first podcast ever was the podcast about Mitch McConnell, which was really cool. I learned a lot about him, stuff that I had wanted to know about him. And then my second one was the Wind of Change podcast about the Scorpions and that song Wind of Change that was big here in the States in 90. I guess it would have been like the spring, summer of 91 here. And it was kind of a 8-part podcast about the possibility of that having been a CIA front. Was the CIA involved in that particular song, and do they use it as propaganda to kind of mess with Russia and Eastern Bloc? Very interesting. They didn't really convince me of anything on that, but there's a whole lot of other stuff they discussed in the show that made it worthwhile. So that was a really good podcast too, and I appreciate anybody who put me onto that. I am now listening to one about Dolly Parton because I love Dolly Parton, and it's just about, I just started it, but it's just kind of about her story. So pretty fired up about that. Thanks for you guys to give me some ideas on podcasts, because again, I've never listened to them and I enjoy them very much. I guess the ones that aren't shitty. Hey caller, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
JG, what's going on?
Is this my man AU Storm 20?
Yep, it is.
What up, bro? I'm glad to have you on the show.
Yeah, man, good to be on.
Is your handle AU Storm 20? I keep trying to tag you on the bunker and it doesn't work.
Well, so yeah, I need to talk to you about that because we changed it, but I need to change it back.
Oh, okay.
So I'll DM you on that.
Okay. So I want to give you full credit on the on the site, but I can't ever figure that out.
Well, so I was AU Storm 20. I still am on my Google account, and then heard a funny recommendation. I changed it to that, and I'm like, man, I hate that. So I'm gonna go back to AU Storm 20. I hadn't had time to get in contact with you on that, but that's kind of how that happened.
All right, word. So what's been going on with you? The transitions have not been super awesome, but they've been awesome though.
Hey, but there had been transitions. That's all that matters.
I know. Thank you for noting that, sir.
No, I'm actually at a hotel here in Huntsville for the weekend because my wife, for her job, she had to come up here this weekend, so they put her in a nice hotel up here, and I was like, yeah, sure, I'll go, babe. And so I've literally done nothing but watch sports in the hotel and go drink at the hotel bar.
Attaboy.
So I just got back. They closed me out the hotel bar, said it closed early because COVID. So now I'm back up in the room watching a little hockey.
I've been watching hockey. I've been watching hockey too.
It's been interesting. I mean, you can't really tell a change of play. I think the thing that makes hockey playoffs awesome is the crowd. But I mean, right now, I mean, it's kind of fun to watch. I don't know, something to watch.
Of the sports that are back, like I can't watch baseball; it's too boring. So that puts NBA and hockey, and I've been watching a lot more hockey. There were some good games last night, dude. I watched the Islanders and the Washington Capitals last night. It was good shit, man.
Yeah, I love hockey. I've been a Nashville Predators fan since they started back in 1998. And my family, we actually had season tickets for a very long time. So I'm probably one of the few Southerners, true Southerners, that love hockey. And then when the Preds went to the Stanley Cup Finals in 2017, it started kind of catch on a little bit down here. And I think with NBC picking up that contract recently, hockey just kind of exploded a little bit. I mean, it's a fun. You got to go to it live to really appreciate like how incredible it is. Because if you just try to watch it on TV, like you don't really understand like how in shape those guys are, how like strategic it is, and stuff like that until you actually see it in person or try to play it on PlayStation.
It's really good in person. I agree. It's my favorite sport to watch in person. Well, college football is my favorite, but ice hockey is tremendous in person. Yeah.
Yeah. So I actually want to talk about that not hockey, but so I heard someone on a podcast earlier this week talk about college football and like what, and this guy's a big Big Ten truther, right? I mean, he's a big Wisconsin guy, and he was saying how he's kind of glad that the Big Ten canceled, and maybe he's just saying this because he is trying to agree with it or whatnot, but he was like, I think what makes college football so great is the atmosphere with it, and the fans, the band, the mascots, et cetera.
Yeah.
And if you're going to take all that away, then you might as well just go ahead and shut it down. Obviously I feel differently about that because, of who I go for and what and maybe it's just, a political stance he's trying to go against. But what are your thoughts on that? I mean, I kind of agree that the pageantry and the atmosphere and all the traditions are what makes college football. Seemingly, it might just be just what seems like a scrimmage with no fans. Is that what we're kind of looking at moving forward?
I don't think it's going to be ideal, but I think at this point we've just kind of got to look at the realities of our situation and say what's the best we can do. And I really don't think you can put fans in there and feel good about it. I mean, and I'm not an alarmist. You guys know that, but I think you got to play it safe. I mean, 70 or 80,000 at Auburn more, but I'm saying like Kentucky or somewhere like that. I mean, it's still 65, 70,000 people. It just seems like a really bad thing. So I think they ought to try to get some folks in there, but I don't know. Like if we have nobody in there versus 10,000 in there, is there going to be much of a difference? I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think it's going to be. I think you got to have somebody in there. I don't know who that is, and I'm glad I'm not making the decision of that because there's going to be a lot of politics involved and a lot of why given this much over my lifetime, and if they don't have students in there, I mean, it's going to be a lot, and I guess it's going to be conference by conference. I guess Mark Emery just kind of has bowed out on this whole thing.
He kind of has,
which I mean,
it's crazy.
I haven't heard anything from him.
I know, man. Like, sack up and do something, man. What are you? Oh, we have to leave it to the conferences. Like, this is your livelihood at stake.
Is Greg Sankey setting himself up to be the czar of college football? I mean, in reality, I mean, this guy is going on he went on Dan Patrick show last week. He's kind of stating everything out there, saying, yeah, we're playing, we're doing this, we're waiting. Our medical experts are telling us this, compared to what the Big Ten and the Pac-12 are saying. It's going to be weird to see what happens as a result of this. Is the ACC, the Big 12, and the SEC going to form a power conference because of this? I mean, I don't know.
You got to start thinking about it a little bit.
I mean, I know there's been talk about that in the past, from certain media members and like kind of joking about it, but it's not a joke anymore. I mean, I think this is a real opportunity for, in the midst of I was told this kind of growing up and throughout my career, in the midst of chaos, change in leadership emerges. I don't know what that's going to look like or what type of change, if any change happens, but if there's going to be an opportunity for change of some sort, it's going to be now.
Yeah.
Whether that's forming a super conference that segregates or succeeds from the NCAA, that pays players, or that does something different than what the NCAA recommends. It's going to be fascinating to see what comes out of this. Especially if the Pac-12 and the Big Ten shut it down and the ACC, Big 12, and SEC play a full schedule, and they had their recommendations from their, medical staff compared to what the other conferences had that set it out. I mean, how's it going to make the other conferences look?
Yeah. It has potential to change this forever. I mean, and push the Pac-10, the Pac-12, which already to me is like the weakest, and then push the Big Ten down too. I mean, if they cannot, I just cannot imagine what's going to happen if the SEC actually pulls this off and the Big Ten sits at home the whole season. It's going to be irreparable damage to all of them, and then irreparable bonuses for Auburn, for SEC, I should say. It's a huge gamble,
I mean,
and everybody's trying to say it's a big gamble for the SEC, but it's a big-ass gamble for the Big Ten, too. Big gamble.
I mean, I would have to tend to agree. I mean, especially, with them, I have a lot of friends I work in the medical community, and I have a lot of friends in the medical community. I'm actually curious to see. I have been on the bunker in a couple of days. I'm actually curious to see what Old Hickory kind of says about this too, because I know he's kind of plugged in and everything. But when the Big 12 or Big 10 and I keep saying Big 12, sorry, the Big 10 and the Pac-12 came out and cited their reasons for leaving, and then they came out with that myocarditis or carditis issue. A lot of the guys that I'm friends with who are in the medical community are like, that's kind of bullcrap. Compared to what the SEC people who are informing the SEC officials on, they were like, hey, we're full steam ahead. We've got these protocols in place to make sure that our players don't have that. They weren't kind of agreeing with what the Pac-12 and the Big Ten said. So that kind of points to something differently in their reasonings behind it, which you mentioned earlier in the show, that you feel like there's something more involved on that end. Maybe it's the thing that they were trying to form with the players in a union type situation.
Interesting.
Especially with like Northwestern, what they're doing in the Big Ten, and then the Pac-12 coming out with their whole demand thing. I mean, it's definitely a weird time. I don't know who to listen to.
It's the weirdest time, man. I mean, this is the weirdest time of my time in sports, which is since '96. So this might be the craziest time ever. And the stakes are just so incredibly high. And I don't envy any of them because we don't know what the right answer is. My dad always told me try to do the right thing, but I don't know if you know what the right thing is right now. I mean, what Sankey thinks is the right thing is obviously different than what the Pac-12 commissioner thinks is the right thing, and they both think they're doing the right thing. So, yeah. But I applaud the SEC for trying to fight this thing through. Of course.
And I think too, like, I think they're doing the right thing, just from my personal standpoint, opinion, and being someone who's involved in the community at Auburn. Like, I have to agree with what they're doing because, you want students to come back, you want a couple weeks of school to go by before you make a rash decision. Like someone else pointed in the chat, the Big Ten is having everybody on campus. They cut that before school even started, before you even get everybody in there and see kind of what happens. I mean, that doesn't make any sense to me. And then you got the Big Ten commissioner's son, who's a football player at Mississippi State, and they're going full steam ahead. I mean, I know. That's just weird to me.
That's got to be some cognitive dissonance in that family. You got to try to get that straightened out,
Exactly. And then I did this read just now that Mark Emmert, the only thing he said has been about college basketball. And them playing in a bubble potentially here in the winter.
What is he doing?
That's crazy.
These are problems that we had before, and I think you just see them now. It's just the bullshit has been all taken apart, and I think the problems that undermine the NCAA from all along, the college athletics rather, you can see the weakness of the NCAA, and you keep wondering, why didn't the NCAA take command here? And the bottom line is they can't. They're not in position to do that. It's kind of like a co-op. There's not really somebody in charge. Mark Emmert's not really in charge. I think Sankey and the presidents of the SEC have more power than he does.
It's starting to feel that way. And I think, too, with Sankey going on these nationally live televised shows that are big and popular, and especially in the Northeast, he's going on there and spending 14 to 15 minutes talking about, things and decisions that he's doing. And I think more people probably recognize his name than they do Mark Emmert, at least at this point.
Yeah.
And, there's definitely a lack of leadership, and showing that a conference can make a decision that will either make or break its future is damning. I mean, it could be potentially, it could be brutal for them moving forward. So why isn't there someone in full charge, like a commissioner type sort, that can sort this out and be, the voice of reason or the voice of truth of, we're going to do it this way. across the whole country. That's why I think you're going to see something in the future shift. I obviously could be right or wrong, and I don't know what's going to happen, obviously. But
yeah,
with what happens, there's going to be a shift, and is it going to be a big super conference that they have one guy in charge and he's the sayer of everything? Starting to kind of look that way. I don't know.
I think they need it. I don't know if they're going to be able to get that all put together, but they need it. They need somebody that can actually make decisions on the behalf of everybody. And Mark Emmert, you mentioned, just keeps backing away from it. He's not empowered to do that. So, and then it makes me wonder about, like, okay, when teams get in trouble for breaking rules, why do they have to abide by what the NCAA says are the punishments? What does the NCAA really do? What does it mean? These are fundamental questions that we're going to have answers to. Oh, well.
Yeah.
I nominate you, AU Storm 20, to be the czar. I think you'd be a good one.
I don't know if I'm qualified or, I'd be very biased in terms of Auburn.
Obviously.
I would have too much Auburn within me.
Just don't poison any trees, bro.
But no, I think that's, I would definitely not be able to do so, but I could put in a very good radio voice. Some people say I have a good radio voice.
Hey, no.
which would allow me to host good calls, not know what the hell I'm talking about, but at least sound like I kind of know what I'm talking about
yeah.
with the way my voice is.
Yeah.
So funny story. I went to Troy my freshman year of college before I went to, I went to two schools before I went to Auburn. I went to Troy to run track my freshman year. And then my sophomore year, I played basketball at a D2 school before I went to Auburn to run track for a year and stuff. So I kind of took a big long about. And my freshman year at Troy, they have a good broadcast media school, and a lot of people have come from there. So I managed in broadcast media, or majored in broadcast media at Troy. And I realized that it wasn't the right field for me when there were like 400 people in my intro class.
Yeah.
And they all wanted to work at ESPN. I'm like, yeah, probably not the right fit.
Yeah.
So,
I hear people say that a lot. Like, I'm going to be a sportscaster. I'm going to go to ESPN. I was like, all right, cool. You never want to stifle someone's dreams, but you're like, you'll be at a local NBC affiliate if you're lucky. That's what I used to think.
Yeah. You're broadcasting local news in Bowling Green for the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers.
Well, Bowling Green's a nice little town. They do a lot of drinking there, so I can't hate on them. But you know what I mean. Yeah.
Hey,
all right,
go Tops.
We love the Toppers. We love Big Red. He's a man. AU Storm 20.
Right,
hey, send me that DM so I know who you are, bro. I want to give you proper credit, man.
All right, I appreciate it. Well, thanks for having me on the show. Hey, regardless of what happens this fall, I'll be here supporting you throughout the way. So,
man, thank you, dude. I appreciate you saying that. That's nice.
We got your back.
All right, bro. See you, man.
Appreciate it.
There he goes. AU Storm 20. Always a good caller. I mean, he's just a conscientious observer of Auburn athletics and SEC athletics. We have got a bunch of super chats we need to get through here. We had a barrage during that outstanding call from AU Storm 20. The first one was from Fat Crack. Oh no, I gotta hold on. I gotta get this. I gotta get these. I can't skip it. Fat Crack jumped in with a super chat. I want to go ahead and pop that back up there. Said, JGT, it's been a while. Hope all is well with. No, I'm not doing that. JGT, it's been a while. I hope all is well with you and your family. Crossing my fingers and looking forward to some brain drains after Gus does as usual. I don't know what you mean by that. Do you mean by beating lots of great teams and getting a lot of positive pub for Auburn? Thank you, Super Chat. Fat Crack for the Super Chat. You have always been huge support. Okay, I'll fix that. Web W jumps in with a Super Chat. Oh, my goodness. Web W, my man. Says thoughts on schedule format. I know y'all mentioned being front-loaded. Yeah, I'm not as adamant now about the front-loaded part. I mean, I think it's going to be front-loaded, but I don't think it's going to be like, Alabama week 1, Georgia week 2, LSU week 3. I think it's going to be staggered a little bit. So I would still expect the Iron Bowl to be early, though, first half of the season. And I would also expect Auburn, Georgia to be first half of the season. So I just wouldn't want to go any further than that. Like, I keep trying to get better answers than that about the schedule, and I just can't get shit. I don't think, like, Allen knows. I don't think Gus knows. I don't think Eli Drinkwitz knows. I think they're just kind of waiting. D Lucky, we love you, brother. I just want to get through these super chats. I had so many that had backed up, and I feel like these people deserve some love for their super chats. So, Fat Crack, thank you. Webb W, always a supporter of the show. Huge supporter of the show. Thank you, sir. We also got one from War Eagle 0008. It says, thanks for the show. The calling for a czar in college football seems reasonable, but it's basically asking for the SEC to give up its own power unless Greg Sankey becomes that czar. Don't see it. It's a good question. It's a good question, War Eagle. I mean, it took a pandemic that we hadn't seen in 100 years to create this problem. Although I would argue that we were having problems with punitive measures prior to this, if you know what I'm talking about. Like, Missouri kind of allowed the NCAA to do what it wanted to with its problems, and it got hit really hard. North Carolina basically told the NCAA to go pound sand and figure your own shit out, and they didn't get a whole lot. And so I thought that the punishment paradigm for breaking rules in the NCAA had been a problem for a few years now, and I felt like that was headed down a road where they were going to demand major changes to how the NCAA governs. But it took this pandemic for us to all see what the real problems, the fundamental problems are with the NCAA, that they don't actually have control of what's going on. That they're basically a co-op. And as such, they don't have, I mean, we talk about all the time about subpoena power, but they don't have real power. And this is where you want Mark Emmert to jump in and do shit, and he doesn't do it because he's not empowered to do it. So I don't see it. They need it, and they may be able to come together and acknowledge that they need to have it, and somebody can jump in and do it. But until then, it's going to have to be Sankey. It's going to have to be Sankey. I mean, I'm just being real. It's going to have to be Sankey. We got more super chats came through. Love the Cats with another, Hornatius with another one. Obligatory $1,000 Jimpty super chat. Poor Jimpty. I think he's back, but he certainly is not posting under Jimpty anymore. And I do want to say, although Jimpty was shady as hell and did not pay the money that he should have paid, right? He did eventually pay it. It did require me to get involved. And I'm not saying I'm the hero of this story. I'm not. I'm just saying I did have to get involved. And once I did and got on his ass about it, he paid. But it shouldn't have taken that. It should have just taken the guy saying, hey, I need the money that you promised me, and that should have been enough. Anyway, thank you, Hornatius. Your second super chat of the night. It's appreciated. Ravine jumps in as well. Great show, JG. Thank you, sir. When are we getting a bunker barrel pick? Ooh. I may have to get with Leif on that. I don't know if Leif can be able to help us. And I mean, I don't know if he could pull a string and get that done himself, but he might have some ideas on how we could pull that off. That would be pretty sweet, though. And I want you to know that I still remember what the scoop you gave us on the show a couple weeks ago. Ravine, thank you. We also got one from Superstar Caller Flying Around. Says, having an only child / daughter myself, thought about you this week, bro. Man, thank you, man. Only child, it's tough. Certain pressures associated with that. But, hey, man, being the parent of an only child means that we've all, everything we've got, every ambition, every great idea we've got, our future is tied into one kid. It's a lot of pressure, right? And when she goes to college, it's tough. But you may end up being a stronger dude than I was. I just got a little tore up, man. I didn't handle it real well, but I'm doing better now. My wife handled it better than I did, that's for sure. I don't know how old your kid is flying around, but your day's coming too. I mean, it's a good thing, though. You're teaching your kids to be tough and fight through school and get to college. So, you're doing what you're supposed to do. If you get your kid to college and they're, or not, if they get into the job that they want to get without going to college, You've done what you're supposed to do. That's what we're here for. D. Lucky says Auburn, he's talking to me. Let me know when it's good to call. Keep getting the British AA. Hello. Thank you for calling Skype. I turned it off because I just want to make sure I got through these super chats, and I just really hope I didn't miss any. I don't think I did. Oh, I didn't miss it, but one just came in from Old Hickory Tiger. It's JGT, my first live brain in the quarantine. You said you were going to do this. Thanks for all that you and the team do. Thank you, Old Hickory Tiger. Appreciate you, brother, man, for jumping in there. And for your support of not only this show right here, but auburnsports.com, too. A tremendous poster. Good Man says, at Old Hickory Tiger, what part of Old Hickory do you live on? Hey, now. Canoe Man says, administrative assistant is certainly tougher than the Commodore. Oh, yes. She's a tough individual. Ed D says, thoughts on the new targeting rule this year. Players will not be required to leave the field. I need to learn. I need to read up on that. I have not paid attention. So I will get back with you on that. In fact, I'm going to write that down. All right. And also I saw AU Taxman talking about the Bourbon Pursuit podcast. I'll put that in the queue. We'll see how this Dolly Parton one works out for me. It's been good to start with, and I love Dolly Parton, so we'll just kind of see how the show goes. I did not realize, because I don't listen to Dolly Parton's music, and I'm not going to, but some of the stuff that she wrote in the late 60s was pretty damn dark. I didn't realize that it was as dark as it was, so it's been kind of enlightening as to how this sunny young lady from Sevierville, Tennessee, was writing about the subjects, very heavy subjects, I should add, that she was writing about. Hornatius says, Jay, opine on my czar comment. Did I miss it? I may have missed it. If Sankey becomes the czar, the SEC gains power, but in the future it's not guaranteed an SEC-friendly czar will always be in power. Be wary. I think it's fair. I mean, that's a fair concern, but it's like if there is a need, okay, for a czar, then you might as well go out and take it. I mean, if Sankey can do it, you might as well. Canoe Man says, D. Lucky had a tremendous podcast recommendation. Son of a bitch. I missed it. I'll tell you what, I'm going to turn the Skype back on, and we'll just have him tell me right straight to my face, and I can write it down. Yeah, it's too far back now. All right, I'll turn it back on, brother. I wouldn't try. I mean, you know I love you. You're one of the great callers. I just wanted to get through those super chats. I felt strongly about it. People supporting the show like that, I think we ought to give them full. Riley B says, JGT, besides your crew, obviously, who is your favorite sports journalist of all time? Chuck Culpepper. You guys probably never heard of him. He writes for the Washington Post now. He was the columnist for the Lexington Herald Leader when I was in Lexington at UK. And, I mean, no bullshit. He's the best writer alive. So good. And he writes shit now. He covers sports. Super, super good. Other people that I really like, S.L. Price, who wrote my favorite story of all time about Rick Majerus that I posted for you guys a couple weeks ago. He used to write for Sports Illustrated, but he's not writing for them anymore. And then Gary Smith and T.J. Simers, who was a sports columnist for the L.A. Times, but for me, like, he was more like just kind of like regular life. But he did sports. He was a sports writer, no doubt. Hey, caller, welcome to the show. How you doing?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
I know who that is right there. That's South Alabama graduate D. Lucky right there.
It is. It is.
Man, you made things better for me last Saturday by telling me you were a USA grad.
Good.
Yeah,
we talked about that before, but you were drinking that night.
I was probably drunk and didn't remember it, and I was probably close last week. Yeah. But it was like the pressure was on to take her to school, and I was like, I don't know if this is the right thing. And then when somebody esteemed like you says, "Hey, man, I'm a South Alabama graduate," I said, "Thank God."
Well, I appreciate the kind words. I don't know if I'm the best barometer, but I'll take it. I'll take it.
And you would
No, I
know,
enjoyed my time.
South Alabama's from when you went to school there to what it is now. It's crazy better. I mean, it looks really
It
nice.
is. Yes, it is. It is night and day difference. Just the investment they made in that campus is ridiculous. Like Taxman said in the chat, the Mitchells put a ton of money. They just kind of started that when I was out there. So the Mitchell Center itself, the business school is named after them. I mean, they just started, just dropping wads of cash out there and
Word.
haven't really stopped. It's been pretty nice. I drove through when I was down for Christmas, and like I said, it's just night and day difference.
Word.
So I think she'll have a great time. I enjoyed my time down there, so I think she'll have a great time.
Man, it makes me feel better right
I got
there,
it.
bro.
Yeah, I got a buddy that went through med school and all that, so I think she'll do just fine. Won't be a problem at all.
Somebody mentioned you had a great podcast recommendation that I missed. Tell me what I missed.
Absolutely. Man, the Tony Kornheiser podcast, I have been listening to that podcast as long as I have been on the bunker. Like, they are almost synonymous. Well, the radio show, I'll say it that way. The radio show, and they got moved to a podcast maybe 2-3 years ago. Okay. It's just it's like a brain drain with less bourbon and a little bit more Washington-based sports.
All right. But he appeals to everybody, though, right? Yeah.
He does, yeah. He very rarely talks anything politics. It's more, current events type stuff. So, very little in the way of politics. He always says it's sports based, so he does talk, current events. But his thing is, he likes smart and funny. So if you're smart and funny, he's all about having you on the show. He doesn't take callers. He does, journalists more often than anything. Yeah. So it's just like I said, I started a long time ago, and a lot of the journalist names that I know today came from, being guests on his show. So it's just really enjoyable. I look forward to he's only down there two a week now, but he's normally 5 days a week.
And he also likes movies. So he had like Ann Hornaday would come on his show back in the day. Like, I don't know if he's still into movies though.
Yeah. Ann hasn't been on in a while, but she used to do a Friday bit where she would review movies. And part of that, I guess, is probably not a lot of new releases out right now. But she would do movie releases and Oscar predictions and all that kind of stuff. So like I said, it's a good combination of stuff. So we got three folks who listen to the Brain Drain who are fans of Tony Kornheiser. So that we think we know good stuff.
And you say what, 2 or 3 times a week?
Yeah, I think right now he's doing Monday and Wednesday, primarily.
All right.
But yeah, normally it's 5 days a week when sports come back. So
word. Okay.
We'll see. Hopefully, when things kick off, if he goes back to that schedule. I would assume he does.
I'm on.
Yeah, something interesting today. I don't know if you saw any of it. The new testing that the FDA approved.
Yes, I saw you mention this. This could be a game changer. Tell me about that.
So from what I read, it is a saliva-based test that is able to be mass-produced and used to get results in a couple of hours. And basically any college campus is equipped to give the test results. It's costs like $4. So it is like the perfect scenario. So you could literally have kids test every day, before school and get the results back ahead of time for practice and know if you got any positives, at least at that point before practice starts, and, isolate them and keep that part to a minimum. Similarly, the thought is that you could do the same thing for anyone who wants to go to a game. So you could basically test everybody who wanted to go to the game ahead of time and then allow them entry so you could actually have a decent number of people in the stands for games. So, like I said, it just got approved today, but they think that they can have, tests out in people's hands by the end of this month. So that to me was an absolute game changer, because I think I already saw people asking the question if the Pac-12 and Big Ten, were 5 days too soon on making their call, and if they'd known this was available, would that have changed their decision? Assuming they have more. It's not a cure or anything or vaccine, but it's a test that is, again, able to be mass produced, is cheap, and can be done really quickly.
That's great, man. That's the kind of shit I was talking about, where they still have a month and a week before the season, and these are the kinds of breakthroughs that can come through that quickly. It makes a big difference.
It absolutely does, and I think they were in really good shape, and they could have just waited. I mean, it would have been better for them to to say, hey, we're going to bump back our schedule a month. We're not going to start as early as we were. We're going to push it back and start, the 26th or whatever, just like the SEC starting.
Yeah.
And just wait it out.
Wait
and
it
then
out.
If they decided, yeah. And if you decide on the 25th to just shut it all down, then okay. That we waited to the very last possible moment, and we're still not comfortable with this, and nothing's come through, and okay, but take as much time as you possibly can. Like I said, if you're going to have kids coming back to school, then just at least get past that initial bubble or whatever is going to inevitably happen with that, and then see what happens on the other side before you just shut everything down.
Damn, I was wondering the same thing. Like, why did they get in such a hurry to shut it down?
I don't get it. I get the myocarditis concern, but again, you were still isolating the kids. Everyone wasn't back on campus. If you saw a big outbreak and wanted to do something at least after the kids were there, at least you got more data points to make the decision on. But to go all of this time and be full steam ahead, and then all of a sudden just completely pull it, I don't know. Doesn't make sense.
No. I don't know why they got so excited to turn it down, walk away from all that, but whatever.
Yeah, they'll have to live with it. I've already seen the Ohio State parents are already asking them to reconsider. So I guess that's possible too. They could,
But they're not going to do that.
A week later.
They're not going to do
They're
it.
probably not.
No.
They're probably not. There's too much pride involved.
Exactly.
Now,
they would make them look weak, and that's important to them. Yeah.
It is. But there's never a bad time to start doing the right thing.
Word.
So, if this is going to be the right move, then there's nothing wrong with coming back and saying, hey, mea culpa, we're going to, reset everything, and we're going to go ahead and play and get this stuff back started.
Yeah.
So, not likely, but.
Those Ohio State fans got to be hating it. But when the SEC's sitting there playing on national TV in about 2 months, they're going to be really hating it then.
Yes, I was listening. Heard a radio show guy today who was giving a primer for Pac-10 and Big Ten fans to come up with a team for them to root for this season, since their teams aren't going to be playing. So he was going through the pros and cons of each one of the SEC teams. That here's where you want to invest your time.
Ooh.
So there'll probably be a generation of kids that will maybe grow up Auburn fans for having watched a game or two in Ohio this year.
Yeah, I'd be all for that.
We can hope. Yeah, we can hope.
I like more Auburn fans. I love that idea.
Absolutely.
Good people.
So no, hopefully it's all turns out to be positive. Especially I know it impacts you on a personal level.
Hell yeah.
So hopefully for that, we get what we want. But it I think is needed. I mean, just judging by the conversations I've seen on the bunker this week, we need something to distract these folks.
God bless.
There's going to be a gunfight or something sooner or later if we don't get some sports, some football.
I know. Society's bursting at the seams, bro. Yay.
Yep.
It's only going to get worse.
But, we appreciate you doing this for us on Saturday, though. Keep us all sane and
thank you, man.
And safe.
And, I mean, it wouldn't be a great show if guys you're a stud. You're a psycho mad lad. But we need guys like you around. Like, solid posters, rational people, good callers. You're the best kind, man.
Well, man, much appreciated. So hopefully this test works out, and we'll be talking a little bit more about actual games.
That'd
I'm looking forward to doing actual post-game brain drain. I haven't been able to do one of those yet, so at least a call.
Now, before you get off the line, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
I was going through a lot of times back when I was first starting out at Auburn Sports, I was troubled by certain posters, and I would write down notes about like what they were doing to bother me. Okay, because I was just getting started, and I came across your name in a batch of those the other day, and I was surprised because you had given me hell about a very particular issue several years ago. Does anything ring a bell with you? Like, was there a particular issue you were upset about? This is probably 5 years ago, maybe longer.
I imagine I do. I remember I emailed you about something, but I think it was about another poster. And to be quite honest with you, I think it had something to do with someone saying something that I felt was pretty racially tinged, if I remember correctly. I will go and try to find the email because I still got the email that I sent. So maybe it's still in my sent. Who knows?
If that's true, that wasn't what I was talking about. But if that's true, I hope that I handled that well.
Well, that's what I was going to say. That was the only thing I could think of because I thought you and I went back and forth, and that got handled to my satisfaction. That's the only thing I could think of.
I had you down on a list of people that were mad about the loss of Threadview.
Oh, that's different. Oh yeah. Well, you got to understand when we switched that, I had like literally grown up on Threadview, and
Right.
I felt that it was a lot, and like the hybrid view we have today was not what everyone thought we were going to. So today it's a little bit easier to navigate and get in and kind of see what people are talking about and all of that.
Word.
And it was just like the one option that I had no interest in doing was going to be the only option available to us was what was communicated. It ended up not being that. But yeah, I can absolutely see. Yeah, I probably was pretty vocal at that point about that going away.
I think you were, and you hurt my feelings with it. But I mean, it's fine. You weren't like, it wasn't a personal shot at me. It was just you and Archie and some other people were very, very serious about Threadview. That's all.
Yes, that the like I said, we grew up on Threadview. Yeah, this was like the way that basically any functioning site operated was that. Like all the other ones that were crap, that was the topic view was it.
Yeah.
So it was. This was. You were literally changing the world for us.
You are. So, you're getting some backup on the chat. Old Hickory Tiger said losing Threadview was a tough day. So I mean, you weren't alone.
Yeah. No, I know it. It was not COVID bad as far as the sides being picked.
No.
But it was pretty bad, and it was funny because the belief was that anybody who wanted that view was older, and when Archie's kind of your lead voice, then but I'm Archie and I are not in the same age demographic, and I'm like, it's not an age thing, trust me. It's just easier to have a conversation with this view. Simple as that.
All right.
So we're good though. We're good. I didn't leave. I didn't go to another site.
No, you're good. You're never been unreasonable ever. You're just not an unreasonable person.
That's good to hear.
All right,
That's funny that you got that though.
I know. I was shocked to run across your name there because, I kind of know you now as like our great caller, and then I was like, he was a Threadview. He was very angry about Threadview back in the day, and I didn't realize. I didn't put two and two together. I guess.
Yes, I was a topic view truther, so I'm over it now though.
All right, man. All right, D Lucky, appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, man. Stay safe.
See you, man.
See you.
Bye. There he is, D Lucky. Hall of Fame caller for sure. Probably a Hall of Fame poster too. Even if he was upset about Threadview, but shit, man. I mean, bygones, bygones. It's all good. We got a super chat coming through. My man Chaz Music. No message, just Chaz Music. My man, thank you for your support, sir. Oh my gosh, I didn't mean to do that. Thank you for your support there. Hornatius says, hybrid greater than Threadview. I think I used hybrid is what I was using back in the day. Canoeman agrees D Lucky is a level-headed dude for sure. He is. That's why he's good. Hornatius says, D Lucky must be old AF. He is not. That is a false statement right there. Look at Hornatius kills me, man, with this BS that he spews. He finally got a new car. Listen to this, man. This is how poor this guy is. Like, he finally got a new car. And he posts on Facebook about it. He's like, hey, guys, look, I got a new car. And, like, everybody else who's, like, had a new car in their life is all like, cool, man. Good for you. You're, like, 40 years old and you just got a new car, man. That's awesome. I'm just bagging on you, dude. Hey, Chaz, no problem, bro. He said his first super chat ever, I effed it up. No, you didn't F anything up. Tell me if you got something you want to say. Let's say it, bro. I'm here for you. Actually, I should have been listening to Tony Kornheiser. I mean, I listened to Tony Kornheiser some maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago on the radio, and I thought he was great. And he is an inspiration to me insofar as 20 years ago, sports radio tended to be very confrontational. And so if you would have a caller call in and they sucked, which some of them do, not on this show, but we've had some shitty calls before. We haven't had any tonight. We haven't had any lately, but we've had bad ones before. Tony was not the kind of guy to shit on people. Like, now he doesn't really take calls from like random folks. He usually does, like D Lucky mentioned, journalists, but he just doesn't shit on people. And I don't have this desire to get on the air and shit on people. So I like that about him. And I remember at the end of his calls, he'd always be like, okay. He would always have this really nice way of saying goodbye to people, like, be good. It was just kind of uplifting. I like the way he did things. Let's see. You did not F up anything though, Chaz. Appreciate you, bro. Canoeman agrees. Says you should absolutely be listening to Tony Kornheiser. This show and the bunker in general is so similar to. Wow, interesting. Oh, I was mentioning before D Lucky called, and obviously we're going to stop what we need to do to talk to D Lucky at all times. But I'm sorry, Chaz Music. I'll get back to this. Chaz Music, who just super chatted first time, says look at my posts above about Saban's record and Gus's record and give me your opinions. Okay, I got to go back and look at this. He says, in the first 8 years of Nick Saban's coaching career with Toledo, Michigan State, and LSU, his overall record was 71-33 and one tie. In the first 8 years of Gus Malzahn's career at Arkansas State Auburn, he's 71-34. Not trying to call Gus one of the greatest of all times, but he is still cutting his teeth as a head football coach. Auburn, for some reason, gets rid of people for the dumbest reasons. Leave Gus alone. Okay, so that would definitely be a controversial opinion in the bunker world, right? I think it's fair to say. The bunker in general wants Gus fired yesterday, and it's interesting that you would mention that. You know, I'd have to take a look at the context of that because I can't say I'm an expert on Saban's career. I mean, I know what he's done at Alabama, but I don't know what challenges he was facing at Toledo and Michigan State. Like his time at Michigan State, it was just like in the periphery of my mind. So I don't know. I just need a little more. I would just have to look that up a little bit more. That's all. I mean, I think Nick Saban's a better coach than Gus Malzahn, but it is a fair point to say, you know, Saban, I don't know exactly how old he is, but he's probably 65-ish. And Gustav is like, what, 52, 53, something like that? So, I mean, he's still got some years. And I do think that Chad's going to be awesome for Gus and for Auburn. So I have reason to believe that Auburn's going to be better and Gus's record's going to be better. So it's a fair point, but I just need to look a little bit more into Saban's. I don't know a lot about Saban's early career. That's all. Let's see. Hornatius. I was hoping the Hornatius would jump back on me on that Jeep situation. Replacing a truck. Love Jeeps. It kicks ass. Rare trim in first model year. Not getting rid of it ever. That's what we all say. Okay? That's what we all say. Chaz Music says Nick Saban is 14 years older than Gus. All right. We were talking earlier about favorite sports writers. So Chuck Culpepper is my all-time favorite. And part of that is because I know Chuck and I love Chuck, and he's probably the reason that I'm a sports writer today. So I got to give him credit, and he's awesome too. But and I mentioned S.L. Price, who wrote my all-time favorite story, which is the one about Rick Majerus at Sports Illustrated. I do want to go ahead and link you guys if you guys haven't read that. For those of you who hadn't had a chance to read it, it's called The Life and Times of Rick Majerus, which is my all-time favorite single sports story ever written. I mean, it's insane how good it is. And Rick Majerus is actually a really cool person too, or he was. He's passed away now, but I had a chance to talk with him some when Kentucky, I was covering Kentucky back in the 90s, played Utah for the national title in 98, and he was cool. He would talk to sports writers, student writers like me. I'm also mentioned that another great story, probably my top 5 would be Bill Knack. He goes by William Knack. Well, he went by William Knack. Secretariat story. I think it was called The Heart of a Champion. No, Pure Heart. Excuse me. What the heck? What is all this? Yeah, so when I was a kid, I would get Sports Illustrated. I know a lot of you guys. Here you go, Hornatius. This is it right here. I don't know if you're just like banging on me as a joke or whatever, but anyway, it's Bill Nack. And there's the story right there. That's the story that I remember as a kid reading. I think this came out in 89 or 90. 89, I guess. No, issue date 1990, excuse me. And it was about Secretariat passing away. And it was a story that I read. I actually got Sports Illustrated and read it, and I thought, man, that was really good. So in 97, I had a chance to go to the Derby, the Kentucky Derby. So I was a student at UK at the time, as almost like an intern. I wasn't really an intern. I don't know what the hell I was doing. I was following around this chick named Paula, and she was a national sports writer for UPI, and so she was covering the Derby, and so I was kind of like working with her. I was like attached to her hip, and we went around and did a bunch of shit at the Derby because she had been doing this for a long time, and it was a real eye-opener for me, and she was really, really cool. I wish I knew what her name was. Her name was Paula, but it wasn't spelled. I think it was Pola. Pola Smith, maybe? Yeah, Pola Smith. Her name was Paula, but it was Pohla. Paula. Anyway, so it was me and her and like 2 or 3 other people, and we got to go cover the Derby for like the whole week that they were there. This is the year that Silver Charm won, so 97, I think. And we got to just hang out with her. So the cool thing about covering the horse racing, or specifically the Derby, is so you go to work at like you probably get to the track at like 4:30 a.m. and you start doing your interviews maybe 5 to 7 a.m. and then you go back up and you write from whatever 8 until let's say 10:30 or 11, and then your day's over. Okay, your day's over. You've got everything you need. Story written. You're out. Loved it. Anyway, one of these afternoons after we had finished writing, Bill Nack was there. He was covering the Derby. This is 97. He was still fine. He was healthy and everything. He was old, but he was fine. And I ate lunch with him and John Saunders of ESPN fame, who I think has passed away now, right? I feel like we've talked about this, and I looked this up, and I'm sorry. I should remember this stuff. John Saunders passed away in 2016. Okay, so it was me, John Saunders, Bill Nack, and a girl named Ashley McGahee, who's now named Ashley Fox. And she was a sports writer. Yeah, as I mentioned, formerly known as Ashley McGahee. Her Twitter is Ashley Fox ESPN. She says she's a writer, speaker, entrepreneur, athlete, mom, ESPN alum. I don't know what that means. Anyway, there's 4 of us, and this is the first time I'd ever been this close to somebody. Like maybe early in the day, I met Bob Baffert, which is a big deal. He's kind of a dick. And then Nick Zito, who was cool. Bill Mott, who trained Cigar, is my all-time favorite horse. That was pretty cool. So I was kind of starstruck. But then I had lunch with Bill Nack. But Bill Nack was really weird, man. He was shaking, and he just like talked weird. He didn't speak English. He just spoke in these like weird parts of sentences, and I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie Barton Fink. It's one of my favorite movies. But remember the crazy, I don't know, for those of you who've seen it, the 5 of you who've seen it, if you remember the crazy writer who's like drunk all the time, I'm not saying that he was drunk, but he was acting like that. It was like I'd read this story, Pure Heart, and I had this idea in my head what Bill Nack was like, and then I met him and I was like, holy shit, is this really what he is? Like he just wasn't anything like I thought he would be. He was just weird and old and shaky, and yeah. I had a better lunch with Jill Arrington. I'll just put it that way. I feel like I've missed things. Wait a minute. What? Hornatius is Paula Poundstone? I'm not even gonna know. I'm not doing that. Ed D says Malzahn is the greatest offensive defensive coach we've ever. Most offensive coordinators want to run the score up. I don't even know what that means. Anyway, Bill Nack's awesome. The best stories I've ever read in my life, Pure Heart, The Life and Times of Rick Majerus, and then dadgummit, Gary Smith's story about Pat Summitt. Eyes of the Storm. Eyes of the Storm is what it's called. And the end of that story is absolutely insane. Sorry. Let me spell her name right. There's the link for Gary Smith's story. Those are the best stories you've ever seen. Call Me Biscuit says, tell us stories about Derby infield when you were not working. I've only been to the Derby infield one time. It was 91, Strike the Gold one. I was inebriated severely. I did see the horses go by from right to left. I was in the far corner, pressed against the fence, and I had a good day. I had a good day. It was like overcast. It wasn't incredibly hot. Yeah. I think people should go to the Derby when they're young. I think you should go to the infield for the Derby when you're in college. I think you should go. I think it's something you should do. If you're an American and you're used to American life and you haven't been around like other worlds, that's where you need to go because it's crazy. Like you go to the infield and it's insanity, okay? There really aren't rules. There really aren't laws. There are cops there, but they're only there to make sure you're not going to get hurt. Like if you're going to go and you're going to smoke a big fatty and blow it right in their face, they're going to probably do something to you. But if you're just going to walk along and smoke a fatty, like they're not going to do anything. They're there to help people get from getting hurt. So it's basically it's like living in lawlessness for like 5 hours, maybe 10 hours. I don't know. You can do a lot of stuff there. And I'm glad I went. It changed my life for the better. I was kicking it with this girl named Julie back in the day. And Julie was a lot of fun that day. I had a lot of fun with her. Administrative assistant was still in high school. I didn't even know her. Uh-oh, I messed up the chat box again. I didn't even know administrative assistant. She was in Louisville, I reckon, but I'd never met her. She hadn't gone to school yet. She hadn't gone to college yet. Let's see. D. Lucky says, we used to have a bunker tailgates. I did not know that. I have never heard of this. Of course, I am the Commodore. I should have heard of this. We also used to have a spring game breakfast and get-together. Holy shit. Is that real? I mean, I'm sure it is. Obviously, if D. Lucky's saying it, it's real. Of course it is. Oh, sorry, D. Lucky. I didn't mean to do that. I was just trying to see what your logo was. That's pretty cool. War Eagle 0008 says the Derby infield helped me become a more well-rounded person. Captain Eagle Flygood says, it's just my opinion, but never trust a girl named Julie. Leif, he doesn't know her, but this girl was from Owensboro, so I don't know if that's good or bad. Hey, caller, welcome to the show. How you doing?
What's going on, JG? This is Leif.
What up, Leif? I was just talking about Owensboro, bro.
Oh, were you? I was a couple of seconds behind, so.
I went to the Derby in 90. I went to the Derby in 91 with a girl named Julie from Owensboro. So, and I had a good time with her, but she was a little bit crazy. She was hot, but she was crazy.
There's a lot of those per capita here in Owensboro. Or I tell you one thing I've always found that.
Yes, sir.
But
hey,
anyway,
I don't know if I saw it on Rebel Grove or if I saw it on your Facebook page, but were you door dashing some Grandies the other day?
I was, yeah.
Dude, I loved Grandies, man. That was awesome back in the day.
Grandies is low key good. It's my when I'm not dieting, that's my low key breakfast joint because nobody thinks about going there. Everybody goes to Chick-fil-A, which is like a block away. But Grandies, you can get a legit biscuit
and gravy,
legit bacon. Yeah, I don't like gravy. I just usually get eggs, biscuit, and bacon. So
word. Hey,
anyway. But yeah, I've been.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
DoorDashing. No. I've just been DoorDashing. Yeah.
Can you help? Do you have some advice for how we could get a barrel pit going? I mean, is it possible?
I do. I think the distillery that I do some work at, they're sort of new, and they don't have a barrel pick program going yet. But I've been hounding them because I've had 4 or 5 people that would like to buy barrels. So yeah, I've been hounding them. I think I'll eventually. They want to do a barrel pick program. They've just been busy with so many other things that they haven't had time. But
would it be Watson's? Would it be Watson's?
No, it wouldn't be Watson's. Watson's isn't produced here in Owensboro anymore.
Oh, okay.
But it's the distillery that, I'll just say this right now, is named OZ Tyler. I've heard rumors that they're going to be named something else here within the next month or so. But I was actually in the master distiller's office this week, and we were talking about some business and when they're shutting down for me to come in and do some work. And he said, you want to try some of our stuff that's going to be limited to 1,885 bottles. I was like, hell yeah.
Hell yeah, you do.
So he gave me a little pipette, and he said, and he took out his notebook. Legit had like a notebook with everything written down for all his notes. And he said, I called this Christmas morning. And I was like, that sounds like that's going to be pretty good. And I tell you what, it was. And it was nice and smooth in the beginning. It lingered. But I mean, he told me, he said, yeah, it's 124 proof. And I was like, whoa, that is smooth for 124. He's like, oh yeah. He said, I can't wait to do this.
Damn.
So, but yeah, their stuff's legit. They produce a lot of small batch stuff for private companies and whatnot. But
well, we definitely have some interest in that at the bunker. So I mean, I'm sure Rebel Grove would feel the same way. So I don't know. It's something worth looking into, maybe.
Yeah. Like I said, I've been handling it, and I've been hounding my people over there, and I think they want to do it. So I'm working on it.
All right.
I'll just say that.
All right.
Anyway, so I got a funny story in my first week of doing DoorDash.
Oh, that's right. Lay it on me.
I'm always out. So last night, my daughter woke up because there was a car accident out in front of our house. She woke up right as I was about to leave. She got upset. Said, "Look, you can go with me. I'll rent you a Redbox movie on the DVD player. Put it on the DVD player. You just got to be, chill out."
Chill.
So she was cool with it. So I don't know if do y'all have Rallies or Checkers down in Alabama?
Neither one, but I think Checkers is more likely. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. Well, it's Rallies up here.
It's good as hell, man.
Anyway, so it's good as hell when in the middle of the night when you've already had something that's tearing up your stomach.
They have their fries are like they're breaded fries. It sounds weird, but they're delicious, man.
They are. Well, anyway, so I'm waiting in line, and so it allows me to text from a scrambled number that, hey, I can let them give an update. Anyway, so I sent this person whose name was Ignatius, which I was like, that's cool. I said, hey, Ignatius, things are running kind of slow. I'll be there as soon as possible. And I get a text message back. No worries. I'm drunk. I just wanted fries. Everything else just sounded bomb. And so I texted back the only reaction that I had, which was, hey, we've all been there.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So finally get the food, take it down, drop it off to Ignatius, who was, I'm assuming, a woman. Could have been a man.
Could have been.
Hey, regardless, I think I'm not exactly for sure that person's status is how I'll put it.
All right.
except to know that they were drunk. Well, it was my last dash of the night. My daughter's asleep in the back, driving home, and they text me, hey, they left out the fries. And I was like, oh, that sucks. And so since I'm only just doing this for funsies,
Yeah.
last dash of the night, I thought, well, hell, ran back to Rallies, explained to them what was going on. Called DoorDash. DoorDash said, don't worry about it. You don't have to do anything. We've got, we'll give them a refund. But I thought, man, I've been drunk and I've been hungry for one specific thing. And I just thought, damn, I would want that one thing. So picked up some more fries for them, explained to Rallies what happened. Took it back, and this person gave me like a $15 cash tip and was just like, I can't believe you do that. And I was like, well, hell yeah, I do that. I don't want to associate with people that don't do stuff like that. I mean, wouldn't you do that if you're out doing something?
I think that I would. Yeah, I think I would. Just because I understand the principalities,
Yeah, I mean, if it was somebody who's just be like, I guess it's because I've already built up some rapport with them just by texting, but I don't know. I mean, would I have done it if they hadn't told me that they were drunk and all they wanted was fries? I don't know. Maybe not. But
maybe not.
It's the right thing to do.
It's the right thing to do. I'm glad you're out there doing the DoorDash thing because, I mean, you're making it right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, like I said, it's not a big deal. I'm not making a tremendous amount of money, but hey, I'm out there driving my kids around trying to get their crazy asses asleep anyway. Might as well make a little coin while I'm doing it.
Yeah. So, has it been a decent experience, though, so far? I mean, people are generally pretty cool, right?
Everybody, yeah, man, because I act cool to people and people act cool to me. Man, I'm a firm believer in the no asshole rule. I mean,
just don't be one.
Don't be one and don't hang out with ones. Not that hard. But I will say this. So my first week in the bunker, and I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And the redhead thread alone might be worth the $10.
Ooh. Yeah, there's a lot of enthusiastic redhead fans, aren't there?
There are a lot. But I mean, like this week, I think I talked about records and suicide prevention and, just all kinds of random stuff. It was fun.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
We talk about a lot of different. I know the Ole Miss board gets a little political sometimes. Not to say that we don't, but it gets a little more varied over here.
Oh, it's a lot more political than the bunker is. I mean, a lot more.
Yeah,
and that's fine. But I'm a moderate dude, which I know was probably surprised a lot of people, but I'm a moderate dude, and yeah. I don't need to talk about all that stuff all the time.
Well, I am too, dude. So I'm not I'm not crazy about all that stuff.
Anyway,
talking about it.
Well, hey, I'm out taking my Kentucky Ambien, which is walking my dog, just drank a shot of whiskey, and about to trying to figure out if I want to light this cigarette that I got in my pocket that may or may not be illegal substances.
You should have shared one with your brain drain point guard.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. Well. Funny. Also, this week my dad was traveling back from Utah, and I had to get him into a dispensary somewhere in Colorado. He's not very good with the technology, and
yeah.
I was like, damn, Dad, it shouldn't be this hard to buy some pot. I mean, especially in Colorado. I mean,
see what I mean?
Look
yeah.
for signs.
Yeah.
But yeah, he found a place called, and the funny thing, my dad doesn't care about music. He doesn't care about sports. He doesn't care about anything except he's always been into motorcycles. But I was like, Dad, you'll definitely remember this place. I said, it's called Maggie's Farm Dispensary. He's like, why would I remember that? I was like, holy shit, Dad. It's a Bob Dylan song. It's like a famous song. He's like, I got nothing. I'm just like, okay. Just turn on this exit and,
Yeah, let's do our thing.
Go see this hippie chick in there. So,
yeah.
Anyway, hey, love y'all. I've been enjoying the bunker, and yeah, take her easy.
Thank you for the super chat earlier too, Leif B. Appreciate you, bro.
Hey, no problem. Hey, I'm glad you're doing better. I knew you were putting on a brave face last week when you were talking about how you thought it was just going to be really easy. Hey, we're all that way about our kids. I mean, I was kind of heartbroken about my daughter. I mean, they're not even starting school yet. They're doing virtual, but found out today she's not in her best friend's class. I was just like, that just, and I mean, she's going to be fine. I mean, she adapts, just like your daughter's going to adapt. But that's the thing, kids, they adapt a lot faster than the adults do sometimes. So we can learn a lot from them.
Word.
So.
All right, Leif B.
Hey,
appreciate you, brother.
See you.
See you, man. There he is, Leif B. from Davis County, Kentucky. A former, he's a current. He's a Rebel Grover, but he's also a bunker member. And he said he was maybe gonna go smoke a little something. I don't know. Good for him. If any of you young kids are listening, though, it's bad for you. Don't do that. I communicated with Sir Jeffrey Lee earlier, and we're gonna give him a holler here. We're going to get Jeffrey Lee on the horn. We're going to talk to him about Malcolm Johnson a little bit and see what's going on. So let's get up with Jay Lee and see what's going on. I got a special sound for him, too.
Yo. Bow to your sensei. Bow to your sensei!
What's up, Big Daddy?
How about you?
Did you hear the sensei thing?
No, man, I didn't hear it.
Oh, you can't hear it. Son of a bitch. I was hoping
Bow to your sensei. Bow to your sensei!
I had it all set up for you because I know you love saying bow to your sensei. So I had that. The people on the show can hear it. But.
Oh, well, that's good. That's all that matters.
What's been going on, brother, man?
Well, tonight I had me a couple of sips of my hand sanitizer.
You told me you had something special, man.
I'm going to bring you some, man. So next week it needs to be dedicated. You're clear the menu, dude.
Are you
talking the flight?
Are you talking about? You think you hook me up like on Tuesday?
Yes, I am.
Okay, sweet.
You want blueberry, strawberry, or grape?
I would leave it up to you. I think on that. What's the best one?
I think grape. That was my first batch, and it turned out to me it's really good, and I think that's what I would want you to start with.
Okay, cool. I'm on board with it.
Yeah, it's some fire.
How many have you had tonight?
Well, I actually got into some margaritas. We went to a restaurant tonight and had some margaritas, and I just had my third one. I also had a pineapple margarita with a pink straw.
Wait,
so
what? Why would you do that?
Well, I'm comfortable in my masculinity.
Okay.
I actually requested a pink straw from the waitress, and she pulled through.
Okay, man. That's cool.
Yeah.
Listen, we had a bunch of people asking. They wanted to hear your take on Malcolm Johnson and just kind of. I mean, obviously, him committing to Auburn's a big deal, but just kind of reclassifying and then like getting here like this week is crazy. This is insane. Tell me about this.
Yeah. Yes. Well, it's not done yet. I think it's virtually done, but it's as of yesterday morning, there were still some things that had to. It was not final. It was not set in stone. I think there's a grade or a class or something that were still raising some question marks. I know he even tweeted out he'll be here next week, but I've been doing this long enough to know that even if a kid tells you he's qualified going to be here, that doesn't mean anything. Coming from the Auburn side, when they say it's final is when you can put it in stone, and that is not. We're not to that point yet. It might change Monday, might change Tuesday, but as of yesterday morning, he was still viewed as 2021 with the hopes of reclassifying and being here next week. That's something certainly that I'll be keeping an eye on early next week to get that confirmed. And hopefully we'll. But you talking about unbelievable. Listen, now I'm not afraid to say that a month ago I didn't give Auburn a chance in hell with Malcolm Johnson. They were among his leaders, but you're talking about Auburn doesn't win many battles against Georgia, Alabama, LSU, and Florida. They just don't, especially for a kid from Virginia. And I was actually going to go back and look. I can't tell you the last time that Auburn signed a kid from the state of Virginia that wasn't from Hargraves Military Academy. I think Caribe Dede. Remember Caribe?
Oh, yeah.
Caribe, excuse me. It was a Caribe.
It's close enough.
You remember Dede?
Of course. Yeah, he played linebacker at Auburn.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah, number 21. I think he was from Virginia. I think that is one of the few guys that I could come up with that didn't go to Hargraves. So anyways, big, huge, and this guy is, and I think Adam Friedman, our Mid-Atlantic guy, wrote about the similarities between Malcolm Johnson and Anthony Schwartz, and they're both track stars. They're both planning on doing both in college. Anthony obviously runs track at Auburn as well, and Malcolm plans to also. So I think him being able to see what Auburn has done with Anthony, how they've used Anthony, and was a big part of that. I think Cody Burns was very instrumental in his recruitment, developing that relationship. Chad Morris and what he's done with guys at Clemson in the past all played big roles. And Auburn just really surprising a lot of people. And it wasn't until about a week ago that I really started to think or to hear that Auburn was a legit option here. And so the closer we got to his timeline, the buzz, started coming and growing. And it was a huge win for Auburn because, like I said, they do not win many head-to-heads with those schools.
Yeah, that was a huge coup, man. I mean, for real.
Huge, really was. Major props to Cody Burns for that. He hasn't gotten enough credit, for the guys that he signed in 2020 class, and of course, if you get Malcolm Johnson to enroll next week, you look back at that class, and some of them were probably underrated. You've got Canyon at a 3-star, I believe. I think Capers was or is a 3-star. I don't know if they bumped him up. But for everything we've heard, those two guys have been the two that have stood out a lot since arriving on campus. So you add Malcolm Johnson to the mix with what they brought in earlier this summer, and just what a hell of a job by Cody Burns.
I mean, you got to give him some credit, man. That's a tough pull. And I mean, they got some wide receivers now, Jay Lee.
Oh yeah, I mean some deep threats, some speed. Auburn's all about speed, and that's what they've been doing. And I really hope we see it all start to kind of culminate this week in practice, and maybe we'll get to see them this fall in games.
What else do I need to know on the recruiting tip right now?
Well, we've got James Graham III, hoops. Let's talk a little hoops basketball.
Word.
He was a 5 top target, a guy that was in my 5 top targets to watch for 2021. 6'8", 215. I think Rivals has him listed as a power forward, but he plays the 3, the 4 out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where Bruce Pearl, Stephen Pearl each have roots dating back to – help me out here, JG. We talked about this the other day on the Brain Drain, I believe. On the rundown. Bruce was at Milwaukee before he went to Tennessee.
Yes, he was. He was, Wisconsin, Milwaukee, absolutely.
Right. So he's got people up there, and Stephen Pearl's done a really good job recruiting James Graham, and he will announce Monday morning. And now a lot of the future casts, I think all of them actually, except for mine, are with Maryland. And I actually got this news. Remember this back when we were doing the rundown. I got a tip when we were doing the rundown last Tuesday, and I checked in on him today, and I actually just posted on the bunker just a minute ago from Cooked that Auburn feels like they've made a really good move here, and they've got a really good chance with James Graham. So that's certainly one to watch. I'll look more into it tomorrow, just kind of get a checkup. But my source today felt pretty decent about Auburn's chances. So it'll definitely be one to watch Monday. And then later in the week, you've got Amari Harvey, the 4-star defensive back from Tallahassee. He will be announcing his commitment, and Florida State, Texas A&M, Auburn are his final 3 schools. And I've got him high chance to commit to Auburn. So that'll be Auburn could potentially start. I'm not as confident in James Graham as I am with Amari Harvey, but I would expect at least one of those guys, if not both, to commit to Auburn next week. The bad news this weekend really came yesterday from Chad Simmons and Kamari Lassiter, the 4-star cornerback from Tuscaloosa, who was set to decide August the 22nd, which would have been Saturday, this coming up Saturday. And all signs were pointing to Auburn. Auburn had a lot of momentum, and he has now delayed his decision. He's going to wait a little bit. So I thought that was really kind of the hiccup there in his recruitment. It looked like Auburn had pulled ahead of Georgia Tech for him, but he's decided to hold off. But, Chad brought the bad news, but he also brought the good news. And we've been hearing about Kool-Aid, Quincy McKinstry, and Auburn's increasing odds with him. And I actually talked to Chad a week or two ago, and he said when he left there, he kind of felt like Auburn might have the lead, and he doubled down on it yesterday by putting in a future cast for Kool-Aid to end up at Auburn. So some pretty big news. And with that defensive backfield, you've already got Tavares Dawson. You've got Philip O'Brien committed. Both of them committed. You've got Amari Harvey on the bubble here. And then Kool-Aid and Kamari Lassiter. And let's don't forget about the Kamal Haddon, 4-star junior college quarterback. All really have Auburn at one or two in their list. So really, really impressive defensive backfield class. Potentially.
I mean, if they add Malcolm too, man, to this current class, I mean, that's another step forward. So I don't know. They're getting it done, man. They're getting it done.
And, I'm gonna look more into this, but with this pandemic, everybody was talking about people staying closer to home, and for some that's going to be the case, no doubt about it. But look at Auburn doesn't have. Oh gosh, I swear it. I don't think they have anybody from the state of Georgia. They have 13 commitments and not one from the state of Georgia.
Damn.
They've got 3 from Texas, 1 from Virginia, a bunch from Florida, Tennessee. So they've gone out of their normal grounds and have built this class, and I believe it's top 20 now with the addition of Malcolm Johnson. I think Auburn's class went from 33 to number 20, and you got to think you add Amari Harvey, a Rivals 250 cornerback or safety, and then you add Kool-Aid, the state's number 1 player, maybe Kamari Lassiter, making moves with Jeremiah Williams, although he's not going to decide anytime soon. But this class has got the potential to finish top 8, and I would be hugely surprised if it didn't finish top 10.
Jeremiah Williams, again, it might be a little while before he makes a decision, which means he's technically not a lock, right?
He released last night, or he said last night he was top 4, so he went from ready to make a commitment. Now he's going to release the top 4 this coming weekend.
Bow to your sensei.
So it looks like
Bow to
he's
your
slowing
sensei.
things down. And that's good news for Auburn, as we've talked about ad nauseum, it seems. He's ready to commit to Florida, and Auburn put the full court press on him with presentations with him and his mom. And over the course of about 5 or 6 days, they had him ready from committing to Florida to holding off. And he's slowing his recruitment down. Probably wouldn't expect anything from him now until November, December at the earliest.
All right. We got a question coming in from Alpha Tiger. Wants to know, what's your favorite brand of trash can to be thrown into? Which one treats you the best?
Oh, man. The big gray ones. The big gray Rubbermaid. I think they're Rubbermaids. You know what I mean?
Yeah, hell yeah.
They're very forgiving. Look, I can fit my ass in there.
Well, you're generally a pretty thin dude, pretty narrow dude, so it ain't a big deal.
Typically, dude, but this pandemic hasn't been nice, though, Jeffro.
Well, me neither, bro. It's been... there's been some anxious moments,
Man, my girl pointed to my belly earlier, and she kind of made fun of it. I said, as long as you remember what it turns to after dark.
Oh, you talking about that David Housel? Cinderella fat, JG.
What is it? Turn the dick after dark?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Cinderella fat. All right, so you going to bring me a little something to the Voodoo on the Tuesdays?
For sure.
Okay.
Absolutely. And we'll have us a little taste. Just to wet your lips, man. This ain't shit you want to be shooting now.
Can
you
I?
just want to wet your lips with this stuff.
Does it work with wings? Does it complement the wings?
Oh, yeah. Oh, it probably really would. Really would.
Okay. Very good.
Well, you know how we all took a fire? What's the really hot sauce?
The bomb.
Voodoo? The bomb. God almighty. Fucking the devil.
It's good for you,
yeah,
bro.
We'll all take us a little swig. We'll get us a little pull from the jug.
All right. I don't know if the BMAT's up for that, but I am for sure.
Well, as Hugh Null once said, B-Man ain't never peed outside, so.
There's a freedom associated with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Brooks would rather go outside and pee off the front porch and go to the bathroom.
Well, I'm just saying it's easier that way.
Yeah. You don't pee on my lid, that's for sure.
Don't do it. All right, Jay Lee. We're going to check you out on Tuesday.
Hey, man, y'all. Yeah, man, y'all have a good night.
All right. See you, bro.
Peace out.
Bye.
Bow to your sensei. Bow to your sensei!
There he is, Jeffrey Lee, saying he sees some commitments coming in the future. We did have a bandwidth hiccup at some point during that segment, and I want to apologize for that. It's almost certainly on my end. We generally have very good internet here, but for whatever reason, maybe it had a hiccup, so things happen, and I apologize for that. I saw that our viewership went down precipitously, which is sad, because Jay Lee was spewing the truth, but we got a lot of them back now. Apologize for that. So we asked the question about the bathroom. Canoe Man wants to know, is BMAT really not peed outside? We can probably go to the source on that one. Biscuit wants to know, can you ask Jay Lee, unfortunately he's gone now, in this new world, Zoom and phone calls, is that it? Jeffrey, he texts with recruits more than anything else, and then I think he calls them. Oh, he said he heard the sensei when he got off. So good.
Bow to your sensei. Bow to your sensei!
That's what he likes to tell people on Twitter and stuff. It's funny as hell. Let's see. Canoe Man says, boom, I knew it was the Montgomery interwebs. Go all fiber, yo. I wish we don't have fiber here in my neighborhood, but if I were to switch providers, I could get gig internet. I don't know if I can or not, but in theory I could. But this is not a problem with, how fast it is, because my ping is usually in the 5 or 6 range, and my download is in the 450 range, and my upload is a little slow. It's like 25. But that still should be plenty for this show. I don't know what's going on. Love the Cat says, restart your modem, Beach. No, I'm not going to restart it right now. There's no reason to stop this show. We're doing fine now. Everything's fine. It's all good. We want to check in with BMAT too. I have not even given him like a heads up. But do we even need to? And we also need to check in at, I don't know if tonight's going to be the night, and I mentioned this very early in the show. I don't know some of you guys are still here, Canoe Man, Biscuit, AU Taxman, et cetera, et cetera. But our man, Nathan, is getting married shortly. I don't know if it's this next weekend or if it's 2 weekends from now. I should know, but I don't. I know it's soon, but we should have him on the show and wish him well. Let's see. Canoe Man says, gig does not really matter. It's not a speed issue. If it is only cable, it can have hiccups. All fiber is the only thing that will fix it. However, you do not have it. Yeah, we don't have fiber here. We don't have fiber available. I live in a new neighborhood. I mean, relatively new. It's like 5 years old or 10 years old or something, but I don't think we have fiber. And yeah, sometimes I don't know. Sometimes when I'm playing like Call of Duty and stuff, it cuts off, but I mean, usually it doesn't. So I figured we'd be good. And we're good now. We're good now. We just had a little hiccup there. Yeah. What else? What else were we gonna talk about? Oh yeah, bow to your sensei. Oh, I want to play the Tally sound just because I love Tally. For those of you who are South Park fans, you know what I'm talking about.
Let's see. No. Come on, Tally. The guy said you had the security system in your memory banks.
Hey, it's been a long time.
You just have no long-term memory because you get high all the time.
Don't preach to me, fatso.
I can preach to you all I want because you're stupid.
You're stupid.
Yeah, you're a towel.
You're a towel. Man, I love Tally. He's the man. Canoe Man says, how does Highland home of the Flying Squadron, by the way, have multiple all-fiber options and your new Montgomery neighborhood does not have a single all-fiber option? I don't know the answer to that. I'm going to be honest with you, though, Canoe Man. Like, I haven't really dug really deep into this because at our old house, which we never did the brain. We'll get back to this. Hey, caller, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
What's up, JG?
Word, who I got on the horn?
Captain Eagle, fly good.
Hey, what up, bro? We haven't seen you on. You haven't called in a while.
Yeah, you know how it is.
But
I don't have an excuse.
I know you've been in the chat though. You've been kicking ass as usual.
Well, I do what I can. Hey, sorry to jump back in the conversation a little bit, but heard some talk about a potential college football czar, and I had a suggestion.
Is it you?
Well, it's a guy that's got a lot of experience administrating, focusing on things that are important.
Yeah, who's that?
Somebody that knows something a little bit about horticulture and eagles and things. Dr. Jay Goosh.
Dr. Goosh.
I'm just saying. Greg Sankey's got his hands full. Let the administrators administrate.
Yeah, I wonder, what do you think that Jay Goose thinks about playing football? Do you think he's fired up about it?
I doubt it.
Yeah, I doubt it too.
I doubt that he is. I imagine he would be on the more cautious side, but
I think he's on the cautious side.
Can eagles get COVID? Have we discovered that or not?
These are good questions. I hope they can't.
Well, it's going to really dampen my game day experience if it is unable to do that.
Hey, are you looking forward to this season? I mean, you think they're going to kick ass, right?
Who cares, Jay? Are Bruce and the boys going to play? That's what I care about.
Yeah, that's the thing. We got it's a long way off, though, man. I think we can get there.
Yeah, I hate to shit on Gus because I don't really think that badly of him. Everything seems, it's kind of like Clemson, Ohio State. Well, not now, I guess, but, it's like Clemson, Ohio State, Oklahoma, and Alabama. You just pencil those guys in and then pencil us in for between 7 and 9 wins. I don't know. I mean, it just doesn't seem that exciting anymore. So,
yeah.
So I kind of stopped. I stopped following recruiting about 2014 or so.
Oh.
And I stopped, no offense to Jay Lee or anything, but I stopped doing that. And after we won a natty and then went to another natty, it's just kind of, all the mounting frustrations kind of took I still enjoy it, but it's not something I'm like super, and also I have small kids. So
what got you off recruiting? Why are you not as into it? Just because you just get bored with the stories, kind of?
No, I was super into it. Like when I was in college, and I was Tiger host when I was there with Tubbs, and loved it. Followed it all the time. Talked a bunch of shit to my friends. Acted like a fool on Facebook, and then I realized that like most of the top guys are going to Alabama and Clemson. Like we weren't winning a lot of those battles. And I started like working a real job, and I don't know. It just didn't. I kind of like dove deep the day after signing day to figure out who we got and all that kind of stuff. But
yeah,
it just seemed a little silly after that. So
all right, yeah. That was kind of bullshit.
So I don't like. Well, I appreciate you saying so, but I don't like know any other players outside of Auburn these days. Because I don't watch a lot of other games and stuff. So I'm sounding real cool on this call. I'm really upping my stock.
Big time, bro. Dude, everybody knows you're a badass. We know that. I mean, come on.
Well, yeah. Well, hey, I did want to ask you. You've kind of been on the Allen Green train the last year or so,
There's
pre-pandemic.
No doubt. Yeah.
What's your sense of the overall state of the department right now? Do you think morale is high? do the big three coaches like him? Is he still kind of doing what you think is a good job, et cetera, et cetera?
Man, these are tough times to kind of assess a guy. I mean, it's just the stress on the job is incredible, and there's not a lot of money going around, so it's a tough situation. But yeah, I mean, he's doing exactly what I thought he would do. He's being very careful with the money, and he's different than what they used to have. I'll put it that way. He's not a lot like me, you know what I'm saying, Captain Eagle Fly Good.
God bless. Okay.
Let's just pray for him, buddy.
Hey, Jay was nothing ever but nice to me, and so I was glad to see him go. But I don't know. I know some people that work in the department, and they might take a little bit of issue with the kind of overall thing, the overall assessment. So I just kind of wondered if your take it was different. But
he's not super sweet and soft the way Jay was. I mean, that's for sure. But I think he's the right guy for what they're doing right now, what they're going through right now. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I don't. To pivot off that, what do you think is needed in an athletic director? Not really even talking about COVID, but like what are the qualities needed to run a giant athletic department these days? Because we've seen people go the corporate route, like Michigan, and just fall flat on their face and stuff like that. So like, what do you think, being a little bit closer to it than the rest of us, what are the things that people need to do to be successful?
Well, you got to be able to raise money, and you got to be able to make good decisions about coaches, specifically football coaches and basketball coaches. And I think you've got to have the sack to cut coaches when it's time to cut coaches, instead of just letting them suck in mediocrity, I think is the thing. But really, it's about raising money and tapping into the people that have a lot of money and getting them to be, to feel like they have ownership of the program, even if they don't. That's what I think it's all about, really.
I got you. Well, like I said, I don't have any sort of super insight into all that, but it's a tough time. I don't envy his position.
Word.
So we'll see.
Right,
hey, last question.
Yes, sir.
I am concerned about the 2-guard and need some reassurance going into the sport that matters this year.
Damn. Okay.
Can you provide it?
No, we're going to have to figure out. I am very intrigued by what they're going to be doing positionally on the basketball court. I mean, there's a lot of questions that we have. Where does JT Thor fit in? Can Chris, is he going to be the guy we need there? There's a lot of questions, 2, 3, 4, and I don't have a lot of good answers for you right now. Yeah. I think dude, BP here lately, he figures out how to make it work. So let's be real about it. I mean, he figures it out, but
of course, yeah.
Yeah, I understand your concerns, man. They don't have that Bryce Brown guy right now. That's the thing.
Yeah, well, I did read, I can't remember if it was B-Matt or Nate wrote the thing a couple of weeks ago about, the position, the depth chart or whatever after Isaac left. And I think he had Devin starting at the 2, and I just love him. I think he's, an electric player. I don't know, that unsettled me a little bit. So
a little bit, yeah.
But then again, it's just kind of like whatever. I trust Bruce implicitly with with all that stuff, much differently than I would with Gus or something.
There's no doubt. I would do the same thing.
Well, I'm excited about it. Let's see what happens. See the boys roll it out there. So
all right, Captain Eagle Fly Good.
Anyway,
you're an absolute badass. You need to call in more often. Seriously.
Well, I will do my best.
All right.
I'll do my best in the future. Appreciate you doing it.
All right. See you, bro.
See you, man.
There he is, Captain Eagle Fly Good. Probably the best name on the entire bunker, but also a good caller. I mean, real good caller. Shout out for sure to our friends and supporters. I mean, these are not just like random ass super chatters. Well, there's not really such a thing, but Call Me Biscuit, who super chatted during the call with Captain Eagle Fly Good. He said, for young Nate's wedding next Saturday, August 22nd. Do we know that's true? I don't know. I really don't. Why do I remember that, but his boss doesn't? Oh, boy. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, ay, ay. I should probably know that. Also, D. Lucky jumps in, says Thread View for Life Beaches. It was crazy going through that list and being like, oh, shit, D. Lucky's on there. It was like guys who have been raising hell, and it said Thread View, and it was like Archie, D. Lucky, and like a few other guys. I don't remember who it was, straight up. I mean, I don't know exactly who it was. Let me see if I can find this. It was pretty damn funny, though. Hell, I don't want to do this right in the middle of this. I don't think I can find it. Man, I'll tell you what, I'll pull this up, though. This is one that me and Jason were talking about back in the day. So years ago, yeah, I can just pull this up on here. Billboard magazine used to do a like a black singles chart, which is kind of a weird thing to think about. And then we were talking about how many of those songs we were like totally into at the time. And so, let's see, desktop. Man, it's going to take me a minute to find this. Man, I should have just pulled that over. That's my fault, bro. Also, we did have a hiccup there on the internet. I don't know what was going on with that. I don't know. Those of you who are like a little bit younger, you're not going to care about this list. But this was the Billboard Black Singles chart from 82. Look at these songs, y'all. Sexual Healing, which is a great song. Truly, I can live without that. Girl Is Mine. The Doggone Girl Is Mine. That's a good song. 1999. I mean, that's good stuff right there. Nasty Girl by Vanity? Are you kidding? I mean, there's some good songs on here for reals, yo. I mean, Morris Day and the Time is on here as well. Damn. It's just weird that Billboard used to have something called the Black Singles Chart. It seems like kind of a weird name. Seems like a weird name, but the songs don't seem weird to me. I'm not familiar with the song Nipple to the Bottle. I mean, I probably should have been, but I wasn't. There's some good stuff on here. Chic is on here. Oh, my God. They should have done a top 40 singles show. You know, Casey Kasem used to do a show. You know, the Billboard Top 40. But hey, they should have done a 40 for this, too. That's better stuff. Whew. Anyway. 1999. I mean, that's I mean, Sexual Healing is one of the great songs of my lifetime, honestly. And 1999 is one of the great songs of my lifetime, too. This is a great time to be listening to that. Kool and the Gang. Shh. Good stuff. Nipple to the Bottle. That's a song by Grace, man. Oh, Chaz Music said, read that list in Gus's voice. Okay, we can do that. All right, number one on the. Well, I guess you'd have to work it all the way back from 40 if you're going to really do it. But top song on the Billboard Black Singles Chart for January 4th, 1982, "Sexual Healing" by Marvin Gaye. It's a song I really dig. Christy was into that too. We also got "Truly" by Lionel Richie. He's pretty good. "The Girl Is Mine," song by Michael Jackson, Paul McCartney. I'm not to get into that, really. Of course, 1999, the 5 spot, Prince. He's pretty good. He plays all those instruments, doesn't he? Kind of like me. Just coaching soccer, basketball, football. I kind of do it all. It's the best I can do right there. Ay. We're still talking about D. Lucky. My man D. Lucky's talking about Threadview. I was like, I got to remember to ask him that. Oh, Leif B says the Casey Kasem clip where he starts screaming obscenities after a request and dedication is awesome. I have that. I wonder if there's a way that I could play that for you guys. It's actually hilarious if you hear it. It was coming out. I actually know this would be a great piece of top 40 trivia, but it was coming out of the song by the Pointer Sisters called Dare Me. And then he had to go. That song is a pretty high tempo song. And then he has to go into somebody's dog dying. And he's like so pissed about it. He's like, now I got to go into a GD death dedication. Who made this decision? Get him in here. He was so mad. I love Casey Kasem. I don't think I can play it right now, though. Let me see. Hold on real quick. I don't think you guys can hear this, though, is the problem. Oh, don't do me that way. And I haven't used. We used to call this iTunes, but they've changed the name now. Here we go. Oh, yeah. I got to figure out how to play that for you guys, though. Seriously, back in the day when the internet was just getting going, like in the 90s and 2000s, I got that stuff. So I have it on my iTunes. I just can't play it in a way that you guys can hear it, but it's really, really funny. Chaz Music says, does anyone, super chat, by the way, you're second of the day, says, does anyone remember the Dr. Demento show? I remember it vaguely, but it wasn't something I watched a lot of, no. Canoe Man says, speaking of 1999, how do we think Gustav rang in 2020? It's pretty big. It's going to be a big year, I think. Oh, man, I wish there was a way I could play that for you guys. I think they set it up so that I don't play it, so you guys can't hear it. You know what I mean? I'll figure it out for next time. Oh, wait, I got an idea. Can we copy it maybe? I'll figure it out for next show. I'll write it down. There's a way I can do it, but I just got to figure out how to do it. All right. Sorry about that. I mean, I'm still kind of learning a little bit. And also, yeah, Hornation says, notice all the viewer drops. Is it the YouTube mobile that lagged the content? It always comes back up. Something's going on. Every time that I do see the viewer drops. It's surprising and alarming for sure. And then I check my, I can do like a speed check and then it's fine. Like I'm going to do it right now. Let's see. I got a 7 millisecond ping. And then my download's in the it's up 250 range. Nope. 300 range. A download doesn't really matter. It has nothing to do with this. I need my upload to be a little faster. It's in the 20 range. It caps at 20. So it should be high. Should be higher, I guess. It's at 20 though. That's the max I can get. And again, my ping's really low, so I don't know. Let's see. Leif B says, once Jay figures out how to play random YouTube clips here, we're going to go deep into the weeds until deep at midnight at night. Oh, man. Leif B says, Rick D's. Leif B says, Rick D's lives in a little town in Kentucky and has a golf course on his property. Rick D's, the weekly top 40. I was a Casey Kasem guy for sure, but respect to Rick D's. So, administrative assistant, she jumped on like 45 minutes ago, and she's been watching straight up on her laptop. Now, she's watching just like you guys are, and she says no problems. So, she thinks it has something to do with YouTube mobile. So, we have to figure that out. And he's saying he's dropped again. But our numbers haven't dropped this time. Hey, caller, welcome to the show. How you doing?
Fire guest.
Hey, what's going on, bro?
Not too much. How about you, Tater?
It's another beautiful day in the neighborhood. You were getting shit upon earlier in the show, by the way. I got to tell you.
No, they were responding to comments I had made previously in the chat, and I think he may have overlooked. I mean, I know Horn made his super chat. He was referencing me saying that I lost my super chat money at the casino up at Harris earlier tonight. So, and then Power Man was responding because I always like to whip little Power Man shit because he or she always tries to respond to my comments on the brain drain.
Well, I think that everybody respects you, Alpha, so that's all that really matters, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure people shit on me, whatever. I mean, I don't really worry too much about it. I am who I am. Or as Doc Dumpster would say, I is who I is.
That's what Popeye says, bro.
Yeah, well, how's things going for you tonight?
Pretty good. We had a few people drop out because I think there's been some trouble with YouTube mobile. But I think we're doing pretty good.
A little bit.
Yeah, have you experienced that a little bit?
A little bit, but not too bad. I mean, I've been on and off most of the night. I'm up here in the mountains, so I don't know if it's necessarily my cell reception or the show itself. So it hasn't really bothered me too much.
I got somebody who says Alpha Tiger said he is up in Young Harris. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, Young Harris, Georgia.
Ask him how young Harris and if his how young Harris is.
It's nice. It's like a nice, cool, 60, 65 degrees on the back deck right now. That's where I'm out here with a few of the dogs, just hanging out and drinking beer.
Well, that's a good thing to drink. I mean, I like beer myself, so yeah.
Yeah, I tried to get away from the whiskey several years ago.
Why would you do that?
I mean, I'm not as good at pacing myself as I probably should be, and beer, even if you're not pacing yourself like you should be, it's still not going to get you too fucked up.
Hornatius says that you are a swoogan. How do you feel about that?
I don't even think Horn knows what a swoogan is. So.
We've already discussed on the show what a swoogan is. It's somebody who's a beta and who doesn't have strength and guile.
Yeah, well, I mean, Swoogan's entitled, or Horn's entitled to his opinion. If he thinks I'm a Swoogan, then, so be it. He drives a Jeep and, has to post pictures of it on the bunker to feel better about himself. So
I know he finally got a new car, Alpha. Aren't you happy for him?
I mean, that's not the car I would have bought. So,
no, me neither.
I mean, good for him. I mean, he seems happy with it. So,
you would have bought a McLaren or a Corvette, right?
I'm more of a truck. I mean, probably a Tundra or an F-150. I got a Silverado right now that I'm not too happy with. So, I think when I get a new one in a year or so, then probably change it up and get something better. But maybe a King Ranch or whatever Toyota's nicer truck is.
Damn. I love Toyota trucks, though. They're awesome.
I like the Tundra a lot. My dad has a Tacoma. He loves it. I mean, he's had it for, I think, about 3 or 4 years now. And honestly, I've been in the truck for so long that, even a Tacoma seems too small. I don't like driving small vehicles, honestly. So I think I'll stick to a full-size truck.
What kind of a beer are you drinking tonight, Alpha?
I'm a Bud Light guy.
Oh, shit. Okay.
So, I mean, I started probably about 1 o'clock over at the casino, playing some blackjack and drinking Bud Light, and just kind of carried over into the evening and kind of just taking it from there.
Are you laying pipe tonight, or what are you up to?
No, I'm up. So I went over to the casino earlier, like I said, and lost my ass and playing blackjack and just hanging out here tonight and drinking beer and hanging out. I'll probably head back to Atlanta probably sometime tomorrow or Monday.
All right, word. Are you fired up about practice starting? I mean, it's time, you know.
Yes and no. I mean, obviously there's still so much uncertainty with the season and whatnot, but I'm excited. Obviously, starting practice seems to give the vibe that we're moving forward with the season, but at the same time, a week from now they could shut things down and cancel the season. So I'm trying not to, I guess, get myself too worked up and too excited with the uncertainty, but I definitely would say I'm more excited. I mean, I kind of asked some questions, and actually one of them was I was going to ask you about. I think I mentioned it maybe in the chat, but has the NCAA made any sort of statement? I know they, we have no control for what conferences do, blah blah blah, but have they made any sort of statement hey, if the Big Ten plays no football this year, Pac-12 plays no football this year, but the SEC and ACC play football this year, how does that affect eligibility? Does the SEC and ACC players lose eligibility for a year and or lose that year of eligibility? And do the conferences that sit out, do they keep it, or is pretty much you play knowing that you keep the eligibility that you had going into the season?
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to work that out. I mean, it sucks to be a player in a wimp conference like the Big Ten that won't actually sack up and play football. I mean, I know those kids want to, and they're getting their knees cut out from under them, so to speak. So it sucks for them. So
it is. I don't know
how it's going to work.
It just, in my opinion, I think the NCAA has lost so much credibility, and I know you've mentioned it. You guys mentioned it on the rundown, I think, or not the rundown last week. About how that may kind of shoot things into the mega conference or the Power Five, moving away from the NCAA, and I agree with that. And I just I think they've lost so much credibility just by staying in the back of the spotlight, and instead of trying to actually take a leadership role in determining what's going to happen here. I mean, I think the idea of okay, yeah, you can opt out of the season, you're going to keep your scholarship and keep your position on the roster, but what does that mean for your eligibility?
Yeah.
They talked about Cameron Wooten, he still had his he's using his redshirt year. What if you don't have your redshirt year? Do you still keep that year of eligibility, or do you lose it? I mean, they just have been so unclear on that on a national scale, and I just think that in that regard, they've lost so much credibility. I don't even know how you could ever restore any sense of credibility in that perspective. And I think in a broad sense, obviously the Power Five, in football, you'd like to see the Power Five break away, and I think everybody's much more excited about 10 SEC games versus 8, and 3 cupcakes and maybe a nice Power 5 matchup. But when it comes to basketball, you have some of these schools outside the Power 5 that are competitive. You have March Madness. I don't even know if there's 64 teams in the Power 5. I'd say it's probably close to that number, but nonetheless, basketball is a whole different story. Same with baseball, and how does that shake up if they were to break apart and start their own organizations?
Well, I just don't know how it's going to work out, but I do want to ask you, do you feel like this whole situation? I mean, first of all, anything that happens this season is going to make you feel like Gus is a better coach. I mean, if they would go undefeated, are you going to feel like Gus is an actual good coach?
I mean, I would say, first off, probably in the grand scheme of things, I would try to look at Gus from a fairly objective percent. I don't particularly care for him. I think he has those faults. I don't think he's ever going to lead us to a national championship. I think one of his positive qualities is that he has the respect from all of his players. So it really wouldn't surprise me if this team did well this year. So I wouldn't necessarily say it'd be making a good coach. I mean, it would definitely move him up a notch or two. I would say that, if we were to go undefeated this year, then because he finally took a step back and let Chad Morris lead the offense, like he said, he's with what numerous coaches previously do.
Yeah.
That he actually did it this year, and I guess you would have to tip your hat to him for doing that. But
of course,
as for whether or not you would say that made him a better coach in your mind, probably not. But again, you've got to also respect the fact that his players do love him. His players have his back, and there's a lot of schools right now where that's not necessarily the case. So you've got to kind of keep that in consideration.
Yeah. And then as far as politically, are you surprised that like the Pac-12 and Big Ten are backing out on football when that's kind of an area, kind of a leftist-leaning area? Do you feel like there's kind of a political correlation there?
I mean, I know you kind of jumped on me a little bit yesterday for making turning the thread political, so I'm kind of here away from the politics of it, but I wouldn't necessarily say I'm surprised. I do think politics played a big role in it. I think I don't even know necessarily if it's a popular choice at the end of the day. I think there's so many people that want to see football played that I think it kind of turned a lot of Big Ten fans away from turn them away from the Big Ten. They're still going to support their schools, but I think there's a lot of negativity towards that decision from those conferences, especially so early. I think the SEC has taken a more pragmatic approach, and you know what, we don't have to make that decision right now, so why should we? So I think, yes, I do think there's politics at play. There's always going to be politics at play, but at the end of the day, my political opinions mean essentially nothing to what the SEC decides to do, what the Big Ten decides to do, and or vice versa. I think, I think the kids are, I think a lot of the coaches are making pretty strong arguments. These kids are better off here, going to practice and having a, I play college baseball, and having a, the time management that goes into having your morning workouts, going to class, your practice, and everything that goes and workouts after practice, the things that go into that, they really take away a lot of the opportunity you could expose yourself to, COVID and other things outside of that. And I think that those coaches are making a pretty compelling argument that it is probably safer for these kids to be on campus playing, practicing, and competing in games.
Word. Alpha, you're doing a hell of a job. You're always a spirited poster, sometimes a little political, but you've been pretty good about it, and we appreciate you calling in because you're always a good late caller. You always come in late, and you always kind of, you keep it on topic, bro.
Oh, I appreciate it.
All right, good luck at the casino.
Thanks,
I hope you make a bunch of freaking money, and you just make a lot of money, and then
I'm done. I'm done for the weekend, so cut my losses.
All right.
All right, have a good one.
See you, Alpha. Peace, bro. There he goes, Alpha Tiger. One of our very best callers. Always comes in late and finishes strong. Administrative assistants tell me to wrap it up, guys. We're 3 hours and 18 minutes into the show. We've had a bunch of great callers. Powerman, AU Storm, D Lucky, Leif B, Jeffrey Lee, Captain Eagle, Fly Good, and Alpha Tiger as well. Some good stuff going on there. Now Canoe Man brings up, where's David the Wizard when you need him? Where the hell is Dave? David would call in every single week, and then he just disappeared, Courtney. What do you think happened there?
He's probably in such a romantic relationship.
Oh, do you think he might have hooked up with Nikki Glazer and he wants to be quiet about it?
Yeah, I'm sure that's exactly.
Oh, snap. Canoe Man says, gals we adore? Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's that time.
I know what that means. Gals we adore. Hey, seriously, picking up from last week, though, I don't know who this the girl on the right is. I don't know who that is. Love the Cat says, wrap it up equals 45 more minutes, guys. No. They're on a little bit of a delay, so I don't know exactly who this blonde-haired girl on the right is, but she was a cutie. I don't even know how Cordy... I don't know how you feel about this girl, but she is a cutie. She may not be the number one superstar, but I don't know. Let's see. Will G says, where are we post-gaming? We're going to post-game right here, bro. Of course. Call Me Biscuit says David the Wizard posted on the bunker tonight. Is that true? Okay, AUBKV says this is Tommy Laren. Awesome. Good call, bro. Man, I hate looking at these when we lost people. Stinks. When the internet, I guess the internet here slowed down a little bit, but I had this. This could be partly my fault because I maxed out our. Like I was like, we got such incredible connection here at the house that we need to go ahead and max out the like we're gonna do it in the highest definition possible, et cetera, et cetera. You weren't kidding, bro. David the Wizard did post. Call Me Biscuit says, David the Wizard, get your ass on the brain drain, to which David the Wizard says, man, I'm drunk with the homies. Is it still going on? This was a couple hours ago. I guess that means that he was too drunk to get on the horn. I don't know. Let's see. Canoe Man says, I know who she is. She's a smoke show. Hey now. AUBKV says she's pretty hot. What? Call Me Biscuit says, is administrative assistant looking for love in the empty house? What's your official statement on that? I think she's telling me to wrap it up, is her official statement on that. Matt N., who jumps in late on many a show, says, Shannon Spake appreciation chat. Oh my goodness. Thank you for the super chat, sir. I don't have a Spake one queued up, I don't think, but I'm more than willing to get that. We can do that. Wait, where are you? Uh-oh. Wait, what? That's not true. We'll just go get it then. I don't know where that picture is, but we'll get it for you. Hold on, bro. I got you. Shannon Spake is so underrated. It's ridiculous how underrated she is. Oh, no, I don't see the picture right away. Hold on. I got a better solution. Hold on. Just give me a second here. This is BS, man. There is a way I can get these, and what happens is, man, I'm like doing the show, and I forget where I put stuff. Oh, here we go. Hotties. There she is. There you go, Matt. Isn't she nice? She's a very nice person. I mean, like, seriously. Shannon Spake's she's a very nice person. So there you go, Matt. Thank you for your super chat, sir. We got another one. Canoe Man jumps in. Says to look into a fiber interwebs connection. Oh, I don't think we have fiber available to us, but yeah, unfortunately, our neighbors behind us, I think they have the gig internet, which may or may not be enough. I mean, in general, we have good service here. I don't know what happened tonight, but it's not Ecamm. It's not their fault. Love the Cat says dropped again. What? For reals?
It's the mobile one.
Courtney says it's only the mobile one. Damn it. We have to switch to another provider or something? Or we have to go to like Twitch or something? I hope not. Leif B theorizes that David the Wizard hooked up with Nikki Glazer, and now he's trying to hook up with Roseanne Barr to win his hooking up with comedians. His hooking up with comedians bingo. That's funny. I love the cat says too much HD. Yeah, I did maximize the. I mean, I thought we were Gucci on the bandwidth, so I maximized it totally. So maybe I shouldn't do that. I went ahead and knocked it down one little notch. So it's a little bit lower now. And hopefully we're going to be Gucci now. We're all our viewership's down a little bit now, but we are 3.5 hours into the show. We have any other requests? Let's see. Stoke. Ali Wong was someone that folks were wanting to talk about a couple weeks ago. I don't know her very well. This Allison Stokey, I believe that Hornatius is a fan of this young lady. She seems very fit. If you're into that. This is the girl that does the golf interviews. I am personally a fan of her. She's lovely. There's a young lady named Jenny. She's not Jill, but she's very talented as well. Lots of tremendous. You guys made a bunch of great choices on these for show. Man, Met N, who I trust very much, says that damn it cut out again. Kuduman says it's not speed, it's the connection. Fiber is all that will fix it, a direct pipe. Cable is a shared connection, which normally is fine, however, can hiccup. Kuduman says Hornatius is not the only fan of Allison. Jenny Dell is, I believe, who we're looking at here in the Red Sox outfit, which if you guys have a problem with her, I'd like to fight you about it. This is the pole vaulter, and apparently she's got a few fans on the bunker. Good. If you were asking me, though, personally, I mean, Shannon Spake and Jill Arrington, that's as good. That's the best you can do right there, I think. I don't know how administrative assistant feels about it. What'd you say?
It was bid day at Auburn.
What does that have to do with this? So does that mean Courtney said it was bid day at Auburn today? Okay, we have a request here for Jeff Hornacek's daughter. I mean, I'm fine with that as long as she's of age. Yeah, she's of age. Let's see. I'm trying to find a proper picture there. Hornatius. Takes just a second here. I don't think you would want that one as much, maybe. No, I don't think you don't want an actual picture of Hornacek though. You want the girl. Is that? This is. I'm sorry. I didn't think the pictures here are not that awesome of her. I mean, not to say she's not pretty, she is, but I just haven't been blown away by the pictures. And there's always another girl in the picture. I don't want that. Do you? You don't want that. Her name is Abby, by the way. Here's Abby Hornacek right here. There you go. Not bad. Nobody's complaining about that. Not a single soul. She's lovely. No doubt about it. Oh, I would be interested to see who Ed D came up with, just out of curiosity, because I don't know who this person is. Roz. I don't know who this person is, so we'll look it up. Roz Gold. Let's see if we can find a proper picture of her. Oh, she's an athlete too. Was she a basketball player or something? Oh wait, no, she. Oh no, she does basketball coverage. Okay, I got you. Yeah, I think everybody would be good with that. I think everybody's fine with that. This is the. Come back here. Oh. Sorry about that. Some of these pictures trick me. This is the gal that he was talking about. Ed D. I don't think anybody's complaining there. Nope. Not a single one complaint. Air Force Amy. Stop that. We remember her. We used to watch that show. It was the Cat House. Isn't that what it's called, Cordy? Let's see. Call Me Biscuit says he needs the Red Sox girl. Okay. We can do that too. She is right there. Isn't she lovely? Call Me Biscuit says, I'm so damn old, I'm about to request to me more. Oh, man. You guys are crazy. We will definitely check out internet connection next time. Like this week, I'll call and see what we can do on that. I don't think fiber's available, though. I think it's just a matter of, is there a better system? I don't know. But, I mean, we're doing pretty good, though. We haven't had a major drop since, I don't know, in the last 30 minutes or so. Last hour. Love the Cat says Red Sox girl's the hottest. Courtney, do you have an opinion on this?
Pretty girl.
The girl from the Red Sox? Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's cute. She's really cute. Wait, I don't even know what that means. Love the Cat says PIIAAB. That means pretty interesting. I am about to say, is what he would like to say. So he thinks that this girl Jenny is very interesting. That's cool. That's cool, man. I think she's interesting too. I bet she is. I don't know her personally, but I bet that's what it is. Canoe Man says, seriously, there are multiple fiber options in Highland Home. Just check. Well, if I lived in Highland Home, I would be willing to look into that, but I'm not in Highland Home. So, therefore, I am not. Paulina Gretzky, is that who we're looking for here? Yeah, she looks just like her mom, honestly. Which is not, I mean, that's not a bad thing. Let me see if I can find a proper picture of this girl. She looks like a Barbie doll, though. I mean, I'm not saying that in a mean way. I mean, I'm not mean at all. I'm just saying she looks like a Barbie doll. I can't find a proper picture of her, I don't think. But I did look. Here you go. This is definitely a proper picture. Sorry. Here you go. This is Wayne Gretzky's daughter, who is Paulina, is her name. I mean, she's lovely. But, I mean, here's the thing about this. So, her mom, I would imagine this is Janet Jones' daughter, I'm sure. So, that's not really fair. Your mom's a supermodel and your dad's like a Hall of Fame athlete. Like, you're supposed to look like that. Like, that's not hard. Alpha Tiger says, how dare you cover up Tommy Lahren? If you're asking me questions, I mean, she would be the next hottest behind Jill Arrington. This is just my opinion. I mean, just because I think that doesn't mean it's right, but let's see if I can find her. This is her right here. Yeah, she's the hottest, but behind Jill Arrington. No doubt about it. I completely agree. Melee says, I live on a mountain in the middle of nowhere and somehow got fiber. What? How does this happen? I wish I had fiber available to me. You guys may feel the same way. Okay, so tonight we've gone 3 hours and 33 minutes, which is probably actually more like 3 hours and 20 minutes. Or maybe more, I don't know. Something like that. And I think we've enjoyed our night tonight. We had the Russell's Reserve. Let's see how much I drank tonight. That's not bad. The thing is, though, it's a little misleading because it's 90 proof. So it's not like super hot or anything. It's not like I'm drinking that larceny. But it was tasty. I really enjoy Russell's Reserve. It has a lot of cherry on it. Tastes like cherry to me. Canoe Man says, are you sure you don't have fiber available? We're going to find out. I guess we're going to dig a little deeper into it. Melee says, JGT needs a Hollywood Squares layout for the gals. Now, that's funny right there. Russell's Reserve was delicious tonight, absolutely. There's no doubt about it. The gals we adore were also wonderful. Love the Cat says that we had a key party last night, Courtney.
What's a key party?
Key party is when it's just like a swingers thing, which is definitely not what was going on at all. It was just, I think there were, 4 couples just hanging out, drinking, hanging out. We watched some hockey. We talked about life, et cetera, et cetera. Dark Side says, where are the brunettes at? I don't have an answer for that. I mean, we had brunettes. I mean, didn't we have some brunettes? Let's see, Spake is a brunette. She's a cutie. Abby Hornacek is not. Roscold, not. No. But apparently she played basketball at Stanford, which is good. It's a good thing. Allison Stokey. She would count as a brunette, I would think. Man's opinion. And this girl's not a brunette, but I'm not a golf person, but she's cute. I'm good with this girl too. Oh my God, did I miss a super chat? No, did I really? I did. Call Me Biscuit. I'm sorry, bro. That is totally on me. Thanks for this is from Call Me Biscuit, one of our all-time great super chatters, and bunker members. Thanks for doing what you do. Great show. Peace out, Brain Drain. Boom. Oh, wait. Hold on. I got to go back to our main page here. Boom. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the super chat, sir. I mean, you know you're an absolute psycho mad lad. I mean, you're one of our absolute greatest. So, I mean, come on. Of course, you know that. You know that. Probably go ahead and wrap it up, though, guys, for reals. Looks like D Lucky's about to bounce out. Love the Cats did properly mention that the pole vaulter's a brunette. Also, the Red Sox girl is a brunette. Oh, I got to go back to that, I guess. Yeah. That would be a tough between the Red Sox girl and Tommy Lahren is a tough call. You're really splitting hairs there because those girls are both extremely hot. I don't know. Alpha Tiger says, did my call shut it down? No, I mean, Alpha Tiger, we're glad to have you call in, but we're 3.5 hours into it. I mean, come on. I mean, a lot of people when they do streams like this, they do like an hour, and we go a lot longer than that because that's kind of how we roll. But I mean, no, it has nothing to do with you. It has to do with me, really. I'm just probably not exciting enough to go 3 hours. Leif B says, D Lucky, be safe on your bike tonight and always wear white. Please. I bet D Lucky is not riding on a bike tonight. Love the Cat says 1 a.m. beaches. Courtney, thoughts? She says no on that. D Lucky says he is going to be on the bike. Always. Canoe Man says he likes the Jenny Dell and the Jill Arrington picture split. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty girls. There's no doubt about it. All right, we're going to wrap it up there for reals, guys. I mean, we've gone 3 hours plus. Well, hell, we're coming up closer to 4 hours now. It's been a good Saturday night. Lots of super chats. Lots of great conversation and banter, as the kids say. I do want to give a shout to our folks, our super chatters, Leif B, Hornatius, Hornatius, Michael P, Stoop Up, AU Storm 2020, Fat Crack, Web W, War Eagle 0008, Hornatius with the second one, Ravine, Flying Around, Old Hickory Tiger, Chaz Music had 2 tonight. Call Me Biscuit had at least 2 tonight. D Lucky, Matt N late, Canoe Man late, Call Me Biscuit late, and then Hornatius with a second or a third. Unbelievable, guys. Incredible support tonight. And it's more about, it's not just about that. It's about being a great part of the show, chatting, and also being a great part of the AuburnSports.com family. Hornatius says, LOL, fat crap. I didn't mean to that. Fat Crack's obviously one of our great ones. I don't know. I was just drinking or whatever. Fat Crack's always been really cool here on the Brain Drain for show. Call Me Biscuit says Statesman from last night kicking in. There is some truth to that. I mean, to be fair, there is some truth to that. And also, as a reminder, we did do a full and thorough defensive depth chart review right here, guys. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Big Daddy. So, let's see. Chase T says, tell us a story from a while back that AA wouldn't let you finish. You remember that one, Cordy?
Yep, you ain't finishing it tonight.
Is it the Cotton Bowl story?
Okay, it's time to go to bed.
Wait, what's the big deal about the Cotton Bowl story?
You're not talking about that.
Like ever or just tonight?
Not on that show.
I got some bad news, Chase. Administrative assistant would rather not talk about that right now. So we're going to kind of work on her and see if we can get maybe some clearance to talk about that. But it involved the Cotton Bowl in 2000. It was the 2006 year, but it was the 2005 season. What'd you say?
Here we go. Night.
It says here we go. All right, we're going to wrap it up there, guys. Appreciate y'all. Almost 4 hours. Close. We'll wrap it up there. Hey, as you said, Canoe Man, I'm going to look into our choices on the internet. All right, guys. We'll keep it real. Appreciate y'all being here. Until we see you again, keep your feet on the ground. Keep reaching for the stars. Behave yourselves. See you guys. Be safe, etc., etc. Love you guys. Peace.